Oh, well, okay. Lee's over there complaining already.
Facebook.
She's blaming Facebook for something, and it's not Facebook's fault, right?
On Facebook,
Whose fault is it?
on my computer, it said it ended. On Facebook, it shows live. So we're going to.
So your computer's wrong? It's
could
not.
be.
It's not Facebook.
Could be.
Finally, Friday. The weekend is here. Y'all going to be a busy one, too. I can tell you that right now. The Master Gardener Plant Sale kicks off 8 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Farmers Market. That's out on Highway 258, also known as the Richlands Highway. All sorts of plants that do well in this area. That's what they're going to specialize in. They don't want something that grows up there in Washington State. They don't care. I don't either. If you're looking for something, you might want to get there early. Everything is first come, first served. They will be open supposedly until noon unless they got nothing to sell. As soon as you wrap up there, head on down US 17 a bit. Going south, you'll find the cool little but growing town of Holly Ridge. It's the second annual Bee Festival. Lots of vendors, lots of fun, all sorts of bee-related products, and you won't get stung. The fun starts mid-morning and runs into the afternoon there in Holly Ridge. So lots of activity this weekend in the Onslow County area. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly now.
I'm Lee Barrows.
I'm Chris Marks.
Who?
I know, right?
Yeah,
I
the
know.
Nashville Traveler.
Oh, yes,
You went over there.
I did.
Did you learn anything? That's what I
I
thought.
learned, yeah, kind of, sort of.
At the conference or just walking the streets of Nashville?
I think I learned more walking the
That's
streets of Nashville
what
than I
I
did at the
figured.
conference. Good gracious alive.
You figured that some weird people show up there, don't they?
I sent you some photos.
I saw those photos. Nolans is about like the same thing, except
I
on
think-
steroids.
I think this is my analogy of the downtown Nashville scene, where the hangout place. It's like Bourbon Street, but with cars, because Bourbon Street you can't drive on.
Well,
this you
every now and then
Yeah,
somebody will.
that's true. But this you can't. We even saw a police chase. So
On foot?
no cars.
Oh.
Some fool on a car. It was just a hot mess. There was a whole interesting. The best part was the signs.
Oh. What? Get a job.
I agree.
Go
And
to work for a sign company, if nothing else.
people are paying these people. That's what's even sicker about the thing. The signs were sick.
Well, why,
So-
who would pay somebody to hold up the signs like you were sending us? I'm like, really?
Yeah, I know.
Wonder if you
Scary.
got any takers?
I don't know. You talking about the solicitation sign?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I won't go there.
No, well, we're not going to tell about. Y'all just don't have no idea. It was rough.
Mhm.
I'm not. I won't even put them on my Facebook
No,
page. They were bad.
no,
Yeah,
no,
I
no.
get banned from Facebook. It was rough, but I learned a lot at the conference,
Oh,
and even got to
you
see
really did?
Pam Bondi speak.
Uh-huh.
very happy.
Well, you can see her speak on
She's
TV
my
all
hero.
the time.
I like her. She's amazing. Even more amazing, even in person.
So security at this conference when Pam Bondi came out
Oh,
was what?
It was intense. Like they wouldn't even start until everyone, as they came in and announced, everyone needs to get in your seat. How they say it? Something about due to the presence of particular VIPs, everyone has to be in their seat.
They don't want people up walking around because people walking around are dangerous,
I agree with that.
potentially dangerous.
They were even checking badges. You have to have a badge to go into the conference anyway. They were checking, and even like if your badge was, let's say, turned, like your name or where you're from's always on the front, and there's some kind of writing on the back. If
Flipped
your
over.
wasn't on there,
sure.
they were making you show it. I'm like, well, I
Did it-
could have. No, just your name. So which made no sense to me. I guess,
A step further.
yeah.
The barcodes.
Well, it is barcoded on the thing. You can scan
But I
it.
would have had a scanner.
Yeah, they did. They did not do that.
See, well, then there's no purpose in barcoding.
Yeah.
There was a boating, a sporting goods show that we used to go to, and it was in Raleigh
hmm
at the big place there. The what's it, 3 floors worth of it or something. But anyway, I would go there, and everything was barcoded, and they scanned it when you went in.
That's a good idea.
They
They
wanted
should
to
have
know
done
how many
that.
times you went in and out, even.
I think probably because there was over 2,000 people at this conference, they
There
probably
were-
thought it would take
well,
forever to scan.
No, there
yeah.
were well over 2,000.
Oh, wow.
Southern
Don't give me any
locations.
ideas, Rayford.
Yeah.
That's how it'll be. I've got to go back in
And you-
July.
And at Las Vegas, when I went to the big shot show there,
Yeah.
it's a big
I
gun show.
went to SHOT Show, yeah.
Holy moly. That is 3 levels, and it'll take you 3-4 days to get
Correct.
through everything.
Yeah.
It did me. I never hurt so bad in my life.
Yeah,
My
that
feet.
was.
But they had security. Well, they had more guns there.
There was guns.
Than our
This one
military
was
has
no
got.
guns, and I have to say, I was very. I don't think disappointed is the right word. Upset, angry, probably. I had to tell people how many shut up. A lot of liberals, and they were very disrespectful to her,
my.
and it just irritated the pure fire out of me. Because regardless of who is speaking, I mean, there's been plenty of times at the conference in the past where some Democrats in prominent positions were up there speaking, and the quote conservatives in the room weren't like the liberals. It was very angry. The people behind me, I finally turned around and told them to shut up. I thought I'm about to get in a fight, but I couldn't take it anymore. Like, they were so disrespectful. And
Well,
some people got up and walked out.
that in itself, and you should send a note to this whole seminar thing, the whole conference, and you should post that in there. You know what? I don't care what your politics are. Leave it at the door.
Yeah.
We're going to have people here you're not going to like. Not everybody's going to like everybody that's picked to be a speaker.
Yeah.
And that's the word anything.
People don't know how to
have
do that.
a little bit of basic respect. Do some things that your elderly great-grandparents would have told you to do, and probably most of them would have slapped the stuffing out of your face. Your grandmamas would have.
Well, it started
in the good old days.
It started when she mentioned Trump, and that's what triggered it. But she was talking about his agenda because she mentioned that. I wrote it down. I wanted to make sure I got this on here. His priority, one of his priority was, well, he had quite a few, but it was to address the flow of drugs, to curb drug addiction, to curb drug access, to get rid of the fentanyl.
Cut it off at the source.
He wanted to get the violent criminals off the street. I mean, things that we all want. Well, most of us do anyway. And the only other thing I want to said was learn some interesting facts that I didn't know before. So in 2025, so remember, this is April, January to Wednesday, 21.5 million fentanyl pills have been seized by federal law.
21 million pills in 4 months.
In 4 months. Coming across the border, she said.
Wow.
21.5 million fentanyl pills tested, proven it was
So that's
fentanyl.
what they've seized.
That's what they've seized.
So what did they miss?
Yes. And she said that, she talked about the cartels being very well organized. They're in all states.
What I was talking to you about before we went on the
point.
air, the first thing we do is we go in and remove them.
Yeah.
Remove breath from their excuses for beings.
That would be the biggest start, right there.
And if we would do something, we can.
Oh,
And since we have declared them a terrorist organization, I keep harping on this. Y'all just not understanding me. Guess who we declared a terrorist back in 2001 and 2 midway? Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda, yeah.
And what did we do? We crossed into a country, Pakistan.
It was Pakistan.
We
Yeah.
crossed into a country that we were not at war with. We didn't have anything against Pakistan, but there was a dude over there that was causing a lot of grief for the rest of the world.
I agree.
His name was Bin Laden. And we went in the middle of the night with several helicopters and a bunch of really cool guys, and we fixed that problem, eliminated it.
Well,
And we fed some sharks with him.
she mentioned President Trump's 3 top things, and I don't think they're in any particular order. She just named them. He wants to fight violent crime, and which I'm cool
Which is
with.
going to be part of eliminating cartel.
That's what she said. She brought that up.
So,
He wants to quote, just get back to the basics of, keeping crime off the street and stopping the drug flow. And he wants to completely eradicate drugs, which I don't think that part's going to happen, but it would be nice.
you can make a serious dent in it, make it unprofitable for these individuals.
And
cartel's not real smart anyway. I'll tell you why.
they're well-run businesses, though. But
Yes, they are.
She mentioned that the synthetic fentanyl from China is as she puts it, the driving force behind our drug overdoses here in the country, which we all knew.
Killer drugs, yes.
Every 6 minutes in the United States, an American overdoses every 6 minutes.
Now you're going to make me get up my calculator,
Yeah.
aren't you? Every
That's just
6 minutes.
Every 6 minutes. She
There
said
are-
the three
that
biggest.
would be every
10.
hour. 10 per
10
hour.
an hour.
And that would be
200,
24 hours a day.
240.
That's 240 a day.
It's
Mhm.
crazy.
240 Americans
overdose.
are murdered every day.
And some of them,
Overdose of fentanyl.
but some of them are, they survive. But she said every 6 minutes there's an overdose.
Oh, an overdose.
An overdose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is still a bad thing because
Yes.
I understand Narcan doesn't work on fentanyl itself. It does not work on meth, and it does not work on cocaine. And people may not realize that. And she brought that up because she's like, well, you need to start doing a better job of educating people. Those Narcan does not work on that.
I thought he worked on fentanyl.
Some cases, but they're getting whatever they're doing to the fentanyl now. It's getting more difficult. She brought up, and the three
Wow.
biggest drugs that they're seizing across the border: fentanyl, carfentanil, and xylazine. Which xylazine's really starting to be a problem
Yeah.
in North Carolina, which is scary in itself. She brought up something that we didn't hear on the news. At least I didn't, and maybe you did. Last week, not this past week, but last in Miami, there was a boat.
Yeah, I saw
A
that.
ship. $500 million
Yep.
of pure cocaine was seized.
That
And they said they hadn't even had the fentanyl put in it yet.
fentanyl and other things that it's cut
Yeah.
with. And fentanyl is very cheap.
Very cheap.
So that they'd rather put that in there than some other drug. I mean, you could go get some, I don't know, hydrocodone
Mhm.
and mix it with it. But, hydrocodone is going to be kind of expensive to mix with a bunch of Coke to give you a better high. Why are you going to do that? That's like the old 8-ball days with heroin and Coke.
Yeah.
But mix it with cocaine. Mix the cocaine with some fentanyl. You cut it, gives you a better high. Doesn't
Mhm.
take as much Coke. That's kind of expensive, but fentanyl's cheap,
Very cheap.
and it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
That's why it's so cheap. It just takes a smidgen.
I
to
can
send you
tell
away.
you from a Crime Stopper when things are being reported to us and they're doing busts and everything. Very, very few times are we hearing the words marijuana and cocaine, but we're hearing fentanyl.
Yep.
And
There's
Fentanyl,
an
yeah.
increased amount of cocaine being seized and it's being used because it's still going to be fentanyl's not going to be the drug of choice for the
Fentanyl's like a mixer.
higher
Yeah.
echelon people
That's-
out there, like the elite of the elite. It's kind of like the drug of choice.
the white collar.
Yes,
Well,
using
there's
the white powder.
Osage County actually does have a cocaine problem.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, for those that don't know.
I'm not surprised.
There's a cocaine problem here. We've had quite a number of cocaine overdoses, and Narcan will not reverse a cocaine overdose.
See ya.
We have a big meth problem here
It's
too.
terrible.
Yeah,
But those two things are not. It's
they're,
just,
they're going to blow themselves up one day.
that's
Might be
scary
more
to
than
think
years-
about.
It
but
wasn't
yeah.
that many years back, no, 25 or so. They had a big meth house in factory in Holly Ridge that went boom.
I remember that. Yeah. Well,
Somebody died in that one, I
I
believe.
think you're right.
one,
And
one or two.
meth labs or meth houses, I guess, are a major hazard to like when they
When
seize
they
a
raid it,
property.
it's not good.
No, and there's only North Carolina has only a set number of their law enforcement teams in the state,
Yep.
and they are trained to go in. And I use the word clean up, but I'm using that super loosely. There's only a few, like when
Well, when they go in those places, even the line with the patrol officers,
Mhm.
whenever they show up and they see, they go into recognition of what this is.
yeah,
Oh wow!
they have to
let's-
wear the
let's-
gear.
Well, the cops don't. They just back out and
yeah,
secure
they
the
call
place.
that team.
Yeah.
And they have to, but they have to, it seeps into the ground. They say it could be 25 to 30 years before it's out. Like it's a health hazard.
It ain't good. It ain't good,
Not
y'all.
good.
That's
Nope.
one of our and what I still don't understand is terrorist organization. We've declared it a terrorist organization.
I
And we
agree.
went in and we killed one of the head. We cut the head of the snake off of Al Qaeda many years ago, back in 2011. There are others that keep popping up, but guess what? We keep cutting their heads off too. But he was the
Gotta
big.
do what we gotta do.
Yep.
Why don't we go? I haven't seen not one time since we have declared that cartel, the drug cartel, is a terrorist organization, we have not slipped over the border at treetop level with
I
some
agree with you.
Blackhawks and gone in
Yeah.
and eradicated whatever bunches where we know they are. That's the only way you're going to do it. You're going to have to make them so afraid, because it's not just the cartel, it's some of the people that they employ. You've got to make them so afraid, the people,
Right.
that they are not going to go to work in with these companies, this country, this organization, those folks. No, you got to make it the price too high for them.
We would never know, but it'd be interesting to see if there's any special ops working inside there already, trying to get ready to do that.
They won't be working inside. They may be working north of the border,
Right.
staging.
Mm-hmm.
Never can't tell. We got a lot of military down there.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be great. It should not take that much time. We know where they are.
Yeah.
We know exactly where they are. We got enough surveillance from overhead to tell where they are. We could pick out a 6 foot, a 9-inch guy walking around a compound in a country we didn't even know where he was.
Mm-hmm.
We could pick him out on a satellite. We need to get that young lady who worked at the agency back and let her get up there and say, okay, let me see what I can do to pick out where these people are. Okay, incoming. It's, to me, she was a cool girl,
Yeah.
young woman. Okay, what else we got? I got a funny one.
We need a funny one. We've had some tragedy in my hometown.
Yeah, let's go. Let's head on that way, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff here after weather. But yeah, up in Eden,
Yeah.
4 dead, 4 critically
4 dead,
hurt
4 critically. Yeah. And
in a wreck.
Yeah.
Not a airplane crash.
no,
Not a massive tornado.
It's very horrific.
A
And,
wreck.
a City of Eden truck.
and it was
hit
like
them.
a freak thing. I
And
mean,
I know where this happened because it's the street my dad grew up on, and it's a very heavily traveled road. So I was sitting there thinking this morning, okay, how would I describe this? Church Street is like a thoroughfare. I would call it as heavily traveled as, let's say, Country Club Road between Piney Green and Western. It's like that heavily traveled
Mhm.
street. And where this actually took place, so you come down a hill and you kind of go around, and it was right at the curve. So you go around the curve and then you go back up a hill. There's a side street here and a side street
Uh-huh.
here. There's no stopping when you're on Church Street, but each side street has a stop sign. And I was looking at, I don't understand, there's a lot of speculation. I did have a friend on the police department say preliminary investigation information they got was the guy did run the stop sign, but I don't know how. I'm sitting there thinking, how could this have happened?
they were saying on the news.
Hold on. You were typing, so I turned your mic down.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to type quietly. I'm trying to get this information
It
out for
wasn't working.
everybody. Anyway, according to the news this morning, they said that he ran a stop sign.
And the worst part about it is I don't understand, because this is such a heavily traveled road, and this was a City of Eden employee, so
Right.
you know where you are. He had a medical emergency. Was
Okay,
my
wait a
first thought.
minute. The city truck ran
City
the stop
truck
sign.
ran the stop
So
sign.
he was at one of the crossroads.
Yes,
Oh,
and I
my,
don't know
my,
which
my.
side he came from.
Matters not. He
But
ran a
he
stop
ra-
sign.
But yeah, because Church Street you don't stop on, so it's the right of way. I mean, you just come down the hill, you go around the curve, and you go back up a hill.
Yeah, it's a city truck. It's a big truck.
It
Apparently.
would have been a big truck, almost like a garbage type truck, like a big truck like that. Yeah, it's very. And I was also told that the workers were contract workers. They were working for Duke, but they were contracted. They were actually from Carolina Power. Don't know how true that is, but that's what somebody in city government told me last night.
Wow.
Which, I mean, it's just
Horrible.
they're on the side of the road. I mean, you just
Yeah.
I just can't. And I'm not saying I hope, but it would be a better outcome to know that guy had a medical emergency and didn't just run the stop sign. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Well,
how did you? You'd have to know the intersection and understand. There's no way he could have not known.
was he slowing down for the stop
I
sign, or
don't
was he
know.
running at a slow rate of speed and just went through the stop
That's
sign
what I
either
want.
way?
To hit 8 people I don't know. Were they standing? I'm not sure what they were doing, but some of the roads in the area are still closed this morning, I was told.
Yeah, there'll be after action reports.
Yeah, it's very, very
no
tragic. I mean, Eden doesn't have anything happen. This
What-
was like big news.
What time did the accident happen?
Like 1:30 in the
In
afternoon.
the afternoon.
Yeah. So it wasn't like it was at night and it's
It's tragic.
it's very sad.
Yeah. Around these parts, the weather, as we know, is always changing. Well, if you don't like the weather right now, just wait for an hour. It'll change. Easterly winds about 5 knots, becoming southerly late this morning and into the afternoon. Offshore today, 2 to 3 foot waves, sounds and rivers, a light chop. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds kicking up a bit, 10 to 15, increasing to 15 to 20 in the afternoon. Gusts to 25 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet, 4 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers, a moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. Northerly winds on Sunday, 15 to 20, becoming northeasterly, 10 to 15 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 25, seas 2 to 4 feet in gusts. Expect the ocean to be a bit sloppy. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon.
Well, today it will be partly sunny, a high of 81. Calm winds becoming from the south 5 to 8 miles an hour this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 64. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 81. Winds from the southwest 7 to 10 miles an hour, but we could have 16-mile-an-hour gusts. There is a 50% chance of showers or thunderstorms tomorrow.
And there's a 50% chance
That
where
it
you
won't.
are, you won't get wet.
Correct. And then tomorrow night, partly cloudy, a low of 57 with 40% chance of some kind of rain. And on Sunday, it'll be sunny, a high of 75 with 16-mile-an-hour gusts. Though.
See, I work for the Chamber of Commerce part of the time. I give you the good stuff.
I like the good
you
stuff.
give the bad stuff. I give the good stuff.
It's hard, we're at that. We never really had a lot of April showers this month.
No.
What happened?
We're almost 6 inches
Yes.
below.
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
we
we're
should be
still
rain.
in that
We're
draw.
rough.
And,
Yeah.
and that stays with us. Even if we get 4 inches of rain, we're
Yeah.
still going to be at a deficit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that 4 inches is
Rough.
still to make up for what we're supposed to get this time of year. But whatever. By my interesting piece of, I read social media, but only not from social media because I almost never ever go there. I did recently over the weekend, I guess, or first part of the week, but something. But there's something that posted on social media that made one of the news places that I follow. And it was, don't believe what you read, okay? Because here's what was posted about 11,000. Germany fired 11,000 rockets into England in 1944. The Nazis' first chance to actually fire their Werner von Braun developed rockets, the V2s, were actually fired against England and other allied countries, about 3,000 total, not 11,000. Still pretty significant. And along with the bombing runs, England suffered major losses. The social media post was trying to make a point, which I have to agree with this point, that with even 3,000 rockets, though, fired by the Nazis, the world condemned Germany. We were up in arms. They attacked civilians. They killed civilians. They went after civilians. They went after neighborhoods. They dropped bombs and did the same thing, right?
Mhm.
All over France and England. But with the more recent times, this group called Hamas, which is no different than the Nazis, they fired rocket after rocket after rocket against Israel civilians and killing them. So Hamas rocket attacks killed lots of civilians in Israel. But there are so many people, so many governments even, who have condemned, these are people in the United States too, condemned Israel for firing back. What a difference 80 years makes.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Wait.
I gotta say, yesterday I left and had breakfast with Theo.
Yep.
And then
Hey, Theo.
had a great time. And thank you again, Theo, for your contribution to
Thank you,
Reach
Theo.
Across America. and we were talking about protesters and stuff, and I was talking to someone else, a little up there in age, maybe 80, but very wise person for being young at 80. Yeah, we were talking about the protesters and stuff, and they protest against everything. Most of them are this new Z generation. I think that's what
I don't
we're
even
in
know
now.
what that means, but yes,
I
that's
think
what they were. Some,
we're baby boomers in this room.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We're the A generation. They're the Z generation.
but it's Z generation. Just they
Kelly's not a baby boomer. She's too young to be a baby
How
boomer.
is
okay.
that?
well, then she's a Z. That would put her in
Yeah,
this
she's
generation.
Generation Z.
I don't-
Generation
Am
Z.
I? I'm about to look.
If you,
I think
if you,
she's Generation X, but
okay.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's right. There was an X and then Z.
and then there's the
But it-
Y. I'll tell you more about Y later.
You
No,
know-
I'm not a Z. I was born in 1969.
Well,
I'm an
that's-
ABC.
That's not a boomer.
No, yeah.
What am I?
That's in the 40s and 50s.
They're protesting, and the
I'm
media
an X.
goes after these college people protesting, and one wonders if they even really realize what they're protesting
I think
against.
a lot of them don't.
They want their 15 seconds of
Yeah.
fame.
I think they're being paid.
Jay Leno used to hit the streets,
I remember
and he
that. Mhm.
and he would ask some of these individuals, people of that age group, not necessarily the protesters, and I'm sure some of them had been protesting, but he would just ask them general questions. What do you think about it? Who's the vice president? Who's the president? Most of them got who the president was. Who's the Secretary of State? Who's the governor of California? They did not know.
No.
We have failed miserably in this country. Some of
Yes.
these weren't old people, because the old people knew, but the generation that was actually in school at that time. Did you know who the president of the United States was when you were in high school? Not now. Do you have that time?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You knew this. You talked
we
about
did.
it, did you not?
Right.
Do they not talk about it today, or they just don't pay any
They
attention
don't
to it
talk
today?
about it a lot.
Yeah,
Well, they obviously don't pay any attention to the news because they don't get their news from the news.
I was watching one the other night. They were out on the streets. Jimmy Fallon show does that a lot too. And they asked this one girl about Hawaii being the 50th state. She was a college student.
Mhm.
She said, no, Hawaii's not part of the United States.
And neither is Alaska then. Yeah.
Because they concentrate on woke in school and college. They don't concentrate on teaching the basics.
Some of that is fairly disturbing to
It
me.
is.
These are the
Okay.
people that, when they turn 18, get to decide who the leader of this
Yeah.
country
These
is
are
going
the
to be.
people that are going to be taking care of us. And when we get so old, we
No,
can't
they're
do
not.
for ourselves.
I'm going to be self-sustaining.
You mentioned something because the Pope is being buried tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Very simple site in the
Basics.
Basilica.
Yep.
Yeah. Franciscus is the only thing that's going to be on his headstone is Franciscus.
Wow.
But what I really took offense of was many Democrats saying that J.D. Vance was the death,
Yeah, we
that he-
talked about that
you remember
yesterday. That
it? Yeah.
J.D. Vance killed him.
killed the Pope.
He went
by
to go
visiting.
visit the Pope, and several hours later, I think it was 4 hours later, the
Yes.
Pope passed away from a stroke caused by
Right.
busted
Those people are
blood
idiots.
vessel. And I'm just like going, I'm surprised the man even made it out of the hospital after
Even
that.
if you are a comedian,
It's just
Mhm.
ridiculous.
there is some degree of respect that you show the Pope.
hmm
I mean, you can
Absolutely.
make fun while he is alive of the Pope Mobile if you want to. That's okay. People do it all the time. The bubble,
Yeah, he's the one
all
that
that
didn't use it.
Yeah, but all that sort of good stuff. That can be funny. And this guy
Sure,
he
yeah.
would have taken. He could accept fun, not a problem.
Well, all this started on X and a post that someone had made.
Hmm.
And I don't remember what I said her name was or his name was yesterday, but it went
Dirtbag.
viral. And it just fed off of that. And I'm just like, No respect.
Well, the only other thing I want to say is how humble we talked about how humble the Pope
Yes.
was, even from his early days. The lineup of people as they escort the body to the basilica are going to be the poor and the needy.
Mm.
That's who he has.
Standard people.
Standard.
Normal people out there, y'all.
Well, you better get a nap today because cover starts at 4 a.m.
AM, yeah.
4 a.m. And I'm
Our
like,
time.
oh my gosh, our time. Yes, 4 a.m. And they said right now that they've kept everything open 24/7 to allow as many people to visit. And they're, today's the last day. But man, the crowds of people that have been out there. And you're right, because watching it on TV or wherever and watching the people, these are simple people.
They are.
And they're coming from all over the world.
It's amazing.
It is. But I'm going to try to be awake.
I saw the
4
one eye
a.m.
open.
Yeah, I usually don't go to bed till about 3, but I'll try to go earlier. Get up.
Southern California School Board voted to keep transgender athletes out of girls' sports Tuesday night. Really?
Yeah.
The Redlands Unified School Board voted in favor of adopting the policy 3-2. Close vote. The school district is located in San Bernardino County. Board President Michelle Rendler, along with members Candy Olson and Jeanette Wilson, 3 women, voted in favor of the policy to keep transgender athletes out of girls' sports. Together for Redlands executive Tricia Keeling, she said that during the meeting, there were no transgender athletes in the school district and accused Olson and Wilson of trying to create a problem. No. Okay. So the woman, I'm assuming, doesn't want to close the barn door before the horses get out. Why take any action now because there's nobody there? Fix it now or spend a lot of money to try to correct it later. What is wrong with her? Why wouldn't you do that? Do you leave your barn door open so the horses can get out before you go close the dang thing? Y'all are stupid. You need to get back to basics. Once the horses are gone, it takes a lot of money to go out to round them up.
Right.
It's happened in other areas, and trying to correct that problem is kind of like putting toothpaste back in that tube. It's tough. It's expensive. Preventative action, pound of cure, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Want to go back to Maryland? This is where you need to have your seminars in Maryland.
Oh, no way.
An illegal alien in Maryland, y'all.
Hey, we got her to Nashville and back, so
And I got to
don't
go
be
back in
pushing it.
July. Let's see what's his.
Let's not push
An
this.
illegal alien in Maryland is charged with murdering his girlfriend after her body was found in a forest outside of Washington. Why is Maryland so much in the news for illegal aliens? We didn't hear anything from Mr. Van Hollander or whatever his name is, did we, about this? The Charles County Sheriff's Office in Maryland says 24-year-old Casey Robinson, Alexi Barrera Rosa, faces a charge of murder in the killing of his girlfriend, 23-year-old Lesbia Malith Ramirez Guerrera.
You got it. Good.
She was reported missing on March 31st. Rosa's uncle, Ralvin Enduro Barrera, is charged as an accessory. Deputy said Guerrera's body was found on April 17th in a heavily wooded area of the forest just outside Cedarville State Forest. Her body was found buried. She was the mother of 2 young children. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement said its agents arrested Barrera Rosa on April 5th in La Plata, Maryland, saying he entered the country illegally and is originally from Guatemala. According to immigration officials, Barrera were apprehended on April 19, 6 years ago, near El Paso. They were served notices, oh bless your heart, to appear before a Department of Justice immigration judge at that time. 6 years later, guess who was among the millions not showing up for their hearings?
Oh, do guess.
What we call due process.
They keep
y'all.
squawking about due
It's
process.
due process,
folks.
and you failed to show up for due
Uh-huh.
process. You failed to do it. That's on you.
Yeah.
That's not on me. They avoided their due process in front of an immigration judge, and thus now we have the woman, the mother of 2 kids, murdered, body buried, disposed of.
Mm.
Where is Senator Holland?
Holland.
Where is this good senator now? The one who went all the way down to try to get another Maryland person.
But he's not a
Individual.
Maryland citizen.
No, he's
Stop
not.
saying that,
He's on
Democrats.
vacation right now after his trip.
For real, or are you just making a
Just
statement?
speaking.
Okay. Okay.
You're
thought
not
maybe
going to
he was
hear
hiding
anything
out
from
after-
him right now.
After looking the fool
Right.
when more information has come out about that guy. But he's not a citizen.
Just in case Van Hollen or Holler and all the others who lean to that left of the center decide that, hey, we're going to try to, this guy, we'll bail him out. These 2 people, just because they're murderers, they're poor, deprived individuals, these illegal aliens, we'll bail them out. Well, guess who's waiting at the Charles County Detention Center just in case they do? ICE.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe that. I hope my tax dollars did not pay for that trip.
Well, it did.
It did.
Well, at least the citizens of Maryland's
Oh,
tax
no,
dollars.
no, no, no. We pay
Was
his salary
was it
too.
Federal? Well, yeah, that's true
It's
too.
coming
Okay,
from the
then.
feds.
See, that's yeah, and what I would like to talk to anyone that's like pro this. Where is your outrage for like American citizens? We don't hear a peep about American citizens in need, or we just don't hear it. Where is y'all's outrage?
We hear it from a lot of people, but you hear it from people like the Salvation Army,
Mm-hmm.
Wreaths Across America organization. We hear about it from people who are involved with, let's call somebody and tell them about so-and-so. It's called Crime Stoppers. We hear
Okay.
about it from us. We do not hear about it from them.
Well, then let's look at it from a different perspective. We have Americans being held in other jails throughout the world that haven't done anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where are they? They're not going there.
No.
Don't we still have like a journalist or something in Russia still being
We
held?
got people being held
Yeah.
in various
Well,
places.
why are they not going there?
Because you're not going to get them out. Russia's not going to turn loose of anybody.
El
it's-
Salvador's not giving. This is their own person.
Well,
They're not giving this guy up.
Let's look at some. Well, not just Americans, but let's go to Africa.
Mhm.
Anybody over there? Any of our senators going over there to protest the murder, the mayhem, the kidnappings, the rapes, the butchering
Mhm.
with machetes
Yep.
of civilians?
Yeah.
Citizens, men, women, and little girls.
Yep.
No.
Who's going over
No,
there?
I mean, nobody's going
Who's
over there.
protesting that? Who's over there doing that?
Nobody.
Right.
So you want to say this one excuse for a human being because he got sent down there early. That's all.
That's all it was.
It was a mistake by sending him early. All right, bring him back and send him again.
But he's not even a citizen.
No.
That's what I mean.
He's
Where-
illegal.
Where is the I don't see any of these people standing up for our U.S. citizens on anything: homelessness, drug addiction, food deserts, domestic violence. Where the Democrat ideology is so flawed to me. Like, I don't even understand. I would love somebody to explain to me how this is okay. Why are you not concerned about American citizens, but you worried about people that are not American citizens? I don't get it. And I just want somebody to explain to me.
I would rather worry about and put attention on the non-American citizens in Africa who are being slaughtered
Yeah.
as little girls than to waste money on a member of a gang, a member of a terrorist organization. MS-13 has been declared a terrorist group too. We are wanting us to pay to bring him back here. Why?
To do why?
We got rid of him.
Whoa.
Unless we're going to drop him halfway back, and that's just disturbing the ocean. Of course, it could be, helping the fish. But unless we're going to do that, I'm not in favor of it.
Well, I think I've got a 3-word answer for you, Kelly.
Okay.
Mainstream media.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
But, I mean,
I-
look at how they open
yeah.
the news, middle of the news.
Mhm.
Then they try to end it with a good news story.
I wish
I agree
I'd
with that.
saved it, but there's a post on one of the news channels. I don't know which one it was. I look at all of them. No, I try to look at all of them. But anyway, Senator whatever his name is, from Maryland, he wasn't the only one that went down there. You
Oh, I
realize
know.
that, right?
There's like 4 or
And-
5 other
And
ones.
did, did you look at their names? Had you
Yeah.
ever heard of this
No.
senator before this event?
No.
Have you ever? It's only 100 senators. You
Right.
know that, right? You would think that if he was
Mhm.
worth a crap, we would have heard
Mhm.
about him, right?
I agree with that statement.
So he's done nothing
Yeah.
while he's been senator except look for. He's one of those guys that will run out into the hallway and look for a camera. But even the media doesn't think he's worth a crap because you don't ever hear about him or hear from him. You seen him on the national media? Nope.
What
Have
he,
you seen any of these others that were mentioned that I saw their names this morning? Nope.
what they,
They're
and,
nothings.
and my question to some of these Democrats that are they're squawking about whatever, would you let these people stay in your house? You going to house them?
Nope.
Because, you know,
Well,
there was,
Mom.
you know how
Efficient.
Mom watches, what's that guy, Lee? Who is that guy on Fox News that has 8 o'clock? My mother watches this. Is on.
Oh, I know who you're
And he
talking
sends the guy out to the
about.
public and he asks questions
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
Jesse Waters. I think it's Jesse Waters. Anyway, he has a little guy that goes out
Right.
and asks the public.
Fox
so-
and Friends. I
Yeah,
think it
or
is.
whatever it is. But so the guy went out to the streets of Maryland and started asking people what they thought about and he asked predominantly African American, Hispanics, maybe 1 or 2 white people, but they were predominantly minorities that he was asking. How do you feel about it? Every single one of them
I
said,
saw that.
this is BS. We do not want these people in our country. And who is this senator to say he doesn't speak for us? But this just highlights how out of touch I think the Democrats are with actually the message of their constituents.
Well, you constituents of these individuals, these groups, you're running your mouth right now. Okay,
Mhm.
People in Maryland, they all said this to this reporter, right?
Yeah,
Or this, whatever
Yeah.
it was, the mic holder. You said this to him, and you agree that this is a stupid thing to be doing. But
Yeah.
put your money where your mouth is, because
Mhm.
they come up for reelection.
What?
And then there are others just like them. You need to make that. You, the citizens of Maryland, can make that change.
Well, what is even funny, I thought about this the other day. Has anyone looked up the quote voting record of Mr. Maryland Man? Because I know it probably don't exist. Has it? You don't hear peep about
I
that.
strongly suggest, and I've said it before, I don't care whether it's in North Carolina, I do it in North Carolina because I would like every one of us to take a look at all of the bills
Mhm.
that have been introduced, what the bills were about by everybody that's going to be running for reelection this year, well, next year now, and in 2028. I want to see what they have proposed, what they've come up with as bills, and how many of those bills actually went anywhere. In other words, what is their success rate? Had they got a 2% success rate? Did they introduce 100 bills and 3 of them made it? That would be a 3% success rate. How many of them actually have become laws?
Well,
Of everything that they get on here, and I get these messages, and I see them from all over the country. These senators and congressmen, they're everywhere. They say, "Hey, I introduced a bill to declare that needles shouldn't be given to drug addicts."
well, I'm talking about Mr. Abrego, whatever his name is.
I know.
Has anybody checked his voting record? Because full well this fool don't vote. Come on now. I mean, let's just be real.
He's not a citizen.
No, he doesn't vote.
Exactly. But that hadn't stopped a lot of
He is
people. Let's be-
illegal.
I hear you, Rayford, but we all
He
know
better
what's
not be
happening.
voting.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. I just do not understand the thought process of the Democrat far, left. I don't get it. I don't get it.
What would be interesting? 19 states plus the District of Columbia
Mhm.
issued driver's licenses to illegal, not immigrants, not undocumented, illegal aliens. they can come in and I don't even know whether they have to pass the test or not, whether they have to read or whether we have to give it to them in English, in Spanish. If they want a driver's license, they get one. Now, we know that when they go to register to vote, one of the requirements is you show a driver's license or some sort of an ID that says where you live, so they know where to put you down as voting in this location, right? It would be so wise for a news organization, it can't be of a local TV station because they don't have the resources, but for a network, if they had any brass about them, and abilities about them, they wanted to do something. They can't do it overnight, but to go through to all 19 states and the District of Columbia and pull every one of the illegal aliens' driver's licenses and then run them against registration polls and find out how many of these people are actually registered and actually vote. They can vote in California, but only for California races. Probably some of the other states too. But how many of them actually, when they go to the polls, are not only handed, oh, you're voting for the city council, here you go, good for you. Do they also get a presidential ballot? A federal ballot for a Senate?
There's a lot of shenanigans.
I will guarantee you that if you do that, you're going to find it. There's no way that that will isolate it. And they are voting illegally in our federal elections.
I agree with that statement.
Do you think that many of them even understand the two-party system?
They don't care, but they're told who to vote for, aren't they? They were told who to vote
Exactly.
for the day that they headed north from way down in Mexico back
They
in
don't understand.
2020.
They're probably given
On their way up here, they wore
ballot.
the T-shirts of who to vote for.
They're probably given a copy of the ballot with everything already checked. This
Of
is who
course.
you check. This is who you circle.
That's done for
This
all of
is
them.
who you fill in the
That's
black.
been done for Americans who are legal residents.
Oh yeah, I know. They do that
The Republican Party's done it. The Democrat Party's done it.
every year at the polls. You see different parties handing out, here's a copy of what the voter guide looks like, and we've already filled in who you need to vote for.
Yes.
I mean that,
Yeah.
but I'm saying in the same sense, these people that they don't know, they don't understand the United States. They don't understand the voting system. They don't understand the two-party system. They don't understand anything. They're just given a ballot and said, here, go vote for this.
So are they voting independent,
No.
Republican, Democrat? What are they handed?
I'm sure
down
I
to-
can see it now. They
you know,
they go to the poll, and the poll worker says, which ballot do you want, Republican or Democrat? And they're probably going like, what?
Well, they will be told if they're independents, which
Right.
they're not
Right.
going to be. They're not registering as unaffiliated. They're going to be registering as one party or the
Sure.
other because that's who they're told. That's
do it.
they're signed up to do that when they're handed their papers, other papers, and their food stamps and their whatevers they get. That's the way that works. They're handed a ballot. Here you go. Here's who's running this. You can't read. It's okay. No, just where this for this name and a check mark, and do the same thing on your ballot.
They
I
use-
got some good news.
what's that?
You do?
Is
The
quitting?
Yeah.
pain in the butt for conservatives for almost a half century, 44 years. What happened to term limits when you're a Democrat there, Theo? Won't be running for re-election. The Democrat from Illinois is the Senate Democratic whip and the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee. Good riddance. He said he truly loves his job. Okay. Me. I'm a realist. I'm guessing at his age that a lot of the social perks have run out. The social perks, the money's there.
Because
but
it's
the
like 80
the
something.
social perks. Social perks.
Yeah.
What's social perks? The parties.
Mhm.
There comes a time
The
when you
parties.
just have to stop.
So
Go home and enjoy your life.
So why hang
like 80
around when
or
he can
something.
draw his
Yeah.
pay and continue to do nothing without having to get out of bed even?
Mhm.
He can do the same job that he's been doing for the last number of years. Durbin was first elected to the House of Representatives in 1982, served 7 terms, 14 years, before succeeding his mentor, Paul Simon, remember him?
Mhm.
In the Senate back in 1996. His
Oh,
retirement
I forgot about that guy.
His retirement is expected to set off a flurry of activity among everybody, the millions of would-be successors, both Democrat and Republican. Senator Michael Bennet, he's a Democrat of Colorado who isn't up for re-election until 2028, also announced last week he's of Colorado. So his term is not up until 2028. Can he file in Colorado to run for governor and still keep his position as senator during the campaign, or does he have to give it up to be able to run in Colorado?
Well,
That would I'd like. If I was in Colorado, I'd be raising Cain.
what was Knucklehead's name?
There's
That
a bunch.
ran with Harris, and he was the governor of Minnesota, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
Waltz.
So he
He
was governor running for vice president.
uh-huh.
So he turned over his governorship to the lieutenant governor, and then once he lost, he went back to being governor.
He just let the lieutenant governor run the show while he was
Right.
busy campaigning.
Well, here's some very
In
interesting
other words, he was
information.
pretty sure he wasn't going to win.
I do think I'm not so concerned about voting limit. I mean, term limits as I am about age. And I'm not trying to say because you're older, you can't think, but here's 4 of the oldest members of the U.S. House of Representatives. Grace Napolitano, who is
What is she doing?
86 years of age, presently a U.S. House Representative.
I mean, what is she
From
doing?
where?
What do you hear
Never
from
even
her
heard of
anymore?
her.
Right. Bill Pascrell. He is 86 years of age. I've never heard of him.
They're
Hal
out together on the park
Rogers.
bench I told you about yesterday.
Hal Rogers, 85 years of age. Maxine Waters,
We know she's old.
84
400.
years of
Yeah.
age. Here's the top 4 in the U.S. Senate. Chuck Grassley, 90 years of age.
Got to go.
I'm surprised he can make it up and down those stairs.
Well, don't forget
Bernie
Strom
Sanders.
Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was there. He was hanging in there.
Bernie
Had a
Sanders,
baby when he
82.
was what, 80?
Mitch McConnell, who's leaving, 81. Jim Risch, he's 80 years of age. It's time to retire and go enjoy being a
What I
grandpa
would
or
like to
grandma.
see is how many times they actually were not present to vote
Hmm.
for anything.
Oh, I agree with that.
More than
Yeah.
they were there.
More,
agree with
more
that
than the
statement,
normal
yeah.
absentees, I'll guarantee you.
Mhm.
Oh, God, that hurts to get out of bed this morning. I just turned that alarm clock
I
off.
do good to get out of bed at my age. I'm just like,
You're a baby boomer, remember?
oh, that's right.
That-
Kelly missed the baby boomer by 1 year.
About 1 year.
One year.
You're the ex.
I'm
Yes.
an ex. That's right. And Lee, I have fell down the steps at the Capitol, so I know it can be done. Like,
Yes, you
See,
have. That's right.
yeah. So she's talking about she can't believe they get up the steps. Yeah, it's doable. You can fall down them.
Were you
Oh,
walking down
man.
or up?
I was going up.
And you fell down going up.
No, it's a long story, but yeah, it was a hot mess.
I have fallen out of a swimming pool before,
What?
but I've never fallen going up steps.
How did
It
you
was-
fall out of a swimming pool? No, really.
well,
You're in a swimming pool, right?
Right.
You're swimming around.
right,
There's water.
right.
The pool side is above you, right?
Well, it was about to my chest level.
So
yes.
how do you fall from the water up and out of a swimming pool?
Because it was one of those swimming pools that's like one piece. You put it on the ground, you fill it up with water, and everything comes up like this.
You're talking about a plastic pool.
Yeah, it's like whatever. And it's got the ring around the top. But what happened was
I would
there was
love
a
to have
bunch
seen
of
that.
us in the pool,
Yeah,
and a bunch of them started making a big whirlpool.
You overweighted the sides.
And the force of the whirlpool, and when I went to
What
lean
What are
over,
y'all doing in there to make them?
it
I don't
was
want-
it
we
was
don't-
my
I don't want to know
nephew's.
that. Don't even go there.
It was my nephew's, but I leaned over about the time that the water current was raging, and
Beer
it
and
just knocked
beans.
me right out, up and out.
I would
I
love
was
to.
going to give you
happens.
the benefit of the doubt with the ladder that the ladder that you climb out,
Right.
climb in with. That maybe you were on the ladder and
No,
No.
she was standing there.
No, this is one of those portable stick it up. It was a big pool.
Yeah.
It really was, but they had created such a whirlpool in it.
How does that even happen? But okay.
Believe me, well, I'm
Beer and beans.
That's
mm-mm.
true. But yeah,
I
so,
have
but,
no clue.
but I will say, like Lee said, they can fall down steps at the thing because I fell up.
It's-
But yeah, So-
But falling down
At the Capitol.
steps, whenever your limbs begin to get, that's actually easier to fall down
didn't
steps than it
fall
is
up.
going
I
up.
fell up. right in front of a news
Falling
reporter
up
and
is-
interview. It was a total hot mess.
Falling
Yeah.
up is, you're
Rayford, as we keep just going like
I was
we
just
don't
getting
know.
on up the stairs, and my foot, I think, caught. I don't know what I did. I don't know, but it was so embarrassing.
Any
Of course,
pictures?
everybody with me laughed. No, I don't know. Maybe
Oh, well,
My-
if it
my-
hasn't been posted, they're
my
probably
people
on
with me were laughing too hard. I was so embarrassed because, like I said, there was some senators there. There was a news crew. It was just a hot mess. Yeah. I will say we have some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
And we
All
hadn't
right.
had this kind of breaking news in a while, so everything's been a little quiet. But this morning in Moscow, a Russian
saw
general was
that.
killed in a car bomb.
I didn't do it.
I
Yeah.
I got
saw
a witness. I was
that.
here. Y'all were here with
Come
me.
up,
Yeah,
and I
it
was just
it's
like,
showing breaking news.
Lieutenant General Yaslov
Yeah, Moskalik.
Moskalik.
So he is a deputy head of the main operational department in the general staff of the Russian armed forces. I don't know what that means, but
Actually, he is he's the guy that goes out to test the cars in case before
well,
Putin
they
gets
found
in.
out. Yeah,
The explosive device was rigged with shrapnel.
Ooh.
and it was placed in his car.
Mm.
Yeah,
How did it? Well,
so
somebody
it
on the
literally just
inside
happened
is
this
involved.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I found a
Is he
story.
challenging Putin for anything?
I wondered. See, that's what I want to know because we hadn't had any Russian deaths in a while. So I really did wonder.
What was that?
I heard that too.
It might have been shockwave yawning.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
Right.
we see what it is.
Yes.
Okay,
What
it's
is
been
it?
taken care
Is
of.
that-
I found a story. You know how I always do these things I would probably go to jail for? I have found a new one. It just popped up this morning. And it hits home to me because my grandson is currently in the 5th grade. So, and I was reading this story, and this is a category of you got to be some kind of dumb. The headline is Texas mother arrested after allegedly giving vodka jello shots to 5th grade students at a school party. That's my grandson's age, 5th grade. She was charged with
Give him a breathalyzer test every day he comes home.
felony injury to a child. It happened at Christmas. I guess they finally wrapped up their investigation and they have arrested
Why would
her.
it take 4 months?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm
it's.
sorry.
I agree.
That's it did what? You're under arrest. Come on.
And the teachers, I guess something happened. She claims she didn't know there was alcohol in the Jello shots.
Uh-huh.
And she claims she also didn't know Jello shots were made with alcohol. Come on now.
What
And
does she think Jello shots?
Can I use that excuse?
I know, right? So when one of the teachers somehow either sniffed it, tried it, don't know, and they rounded up all the kids that had consumed the Jello shots and called the school nurse. And some of them, 2 students had real severe reactions. A couple of kids passed out. A lot of them were vomiting. Now, see, this is why I would be fighting somebody as.
Mrs. Jones, we need you to come pick up your son. He's passed out on the 5th grade floor.
He's drunk.
Yeah, your kid's drunk in class. And they said by the time that they realized that all the Jello shots that this woman brought, it did not say how many there were, had been consumed by the kids.
Oh my God.
They consumed them all.
It's not funny, but
No, it's
could
not.
you
So
imagine?
they arrested her on April 21st, and her bail is set at $75,000.
Goodness. Well,
It's not
and-
enough.
and she's a teacher,
No, she's a parent.
a parent.
She's
Oh
an
my!
ex-teacher, former
She-
teacher.
She is a parent who brought it to her kid's
Oh my
class party,
gosh.
and it gets better.
Oh my! I wonder if somebody at home made those Jello shots for her, like another teenager's kid.
Lifetime movie.
Can you imagine a teenage kid? You got an older kid at your house, or maybe a young brother at your house staying
So-
with you.
There was a movie similar to this on
Maybe
Lifetime
there was a
while
lesson.
back.
Maybe they
She-
took lessons.
Party
She
Huh.
bought these shots supposedly from a store
They don't
that
come with.
sells.
They don't come pre-made,
Maybe in
do
Texas they do. I don't
How
know. Just
sweet.
say it was. Yeah, yeah.
they? Theo, you got
We
any
were going
stuff up at the pig
shopping.
like that?
Yeah,
You got any
I
shots
mean-
at the pig? I don't think so.
I just, but I'm telling you what, if my grandson were given something like that at school, you better get to that parent that supplied that before I do. It's our bottom line. I mean, some of these hurt. Like what?
Well, I mean, their body, you know, it's like a 400-pound man having a really good drink,
Right. I mean, these are little tiny
as
kids.
opposed to
They're
a
fifth graders.
102-pound young person.
My grandson only weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah, but I mean, a 400-pound guy that can handle a big old stiff drink.
Yeah.
Not
Can
even
you
know
imagine
it.
getting
400
that
pounds.
call as a parent?
A 100-pounder is going to have a problem.
Come take your kid to the hospital because they're passed out from Jello shot.
Yeah, really.
Can you
How many
imagine?
kids were involved?
It just said a classroom full of kids. So average
Could you
classroom
imagine
full of
getting that
kids.
phone
So
call?
I'm telling you, I
Hello,
would
Mrs.
flip
Knapp, we
out.
could not get hold of Keelan.
Kylan. Yeah.
Kylan's mother, but we need you to come pick him up. The class got a little excited today, and most of them are drunk. And
They're having
Could you
a nap and they're
imagine?
sleeping really well.
Booze,
you better call JPD and have
I'm
him meet you
telling you, I would
there.
say that somebody be
Gotta
like, y'all
say.
better get to the school before I do. I mean, this is on my list of things I would go to jail for. This
What-
right here is one of them.
Why?
What
What parent goes to school taking Jello? Period.
I agree.
I mean,
Why
why-
would you
why do you
take
do
Jello
that?
shots? So who thought that was a good idea?
No, just Jello. Was it a gathering and everybody?
It was
brought
a
some food?
holiday party. It was a Christmas
Kelly,
party.
we have to.
Christmas.
It was a Christmas, but it
So
happened in
She
December.
had to bring Jello.
But who brings Jello shots? Who says
there are people that do not know what a Jello shot is.
There's
You
no
understand
way.
that, right?
You cannot tell me based on the way this lady looks?
It is not Jello in a bowl. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
This
There's
is
no
special
way
made
this woman
Jello.
right
Where does
here.
it come? In a needle?
It's-
Like a shot?
I mean, you make it, but you add special ingredients.
You
Yes,
can't
yes.
tell me that this woman right here don't know what a Jello shot is. Come on now.
Kelly, we have to put this one on our
Oh,
list to
my.
follow this story.
Yeah.
I want to hear what comes
I-
out in court.
Yes, because here's what she looks like. You tell me that. lady don't know what a
Is she
Jell-O
married?
shot
Yeah,
is.
she looked like she's had a couple Jello
Yeah,
shots.
she does.
Is
Yeah,
she,
she-
is
that's what they're-
is she married?
I don't know.
Is
Doesn't
she
say.
from this country?
Yes, her name is Teresa Bernal.
Okay.
Bernal.
Teresa. I mean,
Yeah.
really?
It was at Jones Elementary School in
not Mother
Tyler,
Teresa.
Texas.
That's
You-
like
I'm sorry. Did you say Teresa Smirnoff?
Bernal.
Sorry.
she's married to Jack.
Yeah, Teresa Bernal. Bernal. No, and it was at Jones Elementary School in Tyler, Texas.
Jesus.
Can
Wonder
you?
if she made any brownies to go with
I
those Jello
got some top brownies to go with those shots. I mean,
She looked the part. She could do the brownies.
I'm telling you, you
Yes,
can't-
yeah.
she told me I didn't know that there was alcohol in Jello shots. I mean,
I still want to know where she bought them. Now in
agreed.
Texas, it was in
It was
Texas,
in
right?
Texas.
In Texas, they have ABC stores that are privately owned, and they're on every single street corner, just like
Do they
Circle
make
K's or
Jell-O
7-Elevens.
What bottling company? What booze company
But I
actually makes
don't know.
Jello shots? This has to be made on the
I've
spot.
always
doesn't
made
it?
mine at home. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
doesn't it have to be made? You don't
I've made my own. Yeah.
know.
Well, if you've
I
got a refrigerator in the back room, you can a little burner. You can make them right there. You heat the alcohol or water. You pour in the gelatin. You mix it. Add the cold water. Stick it in the refrigerator.
Is
You're
that how you
good.
make a Jello shot?
You just add what you.
See, I've never had a
yeah.
Jello shot.
You
When you
In
know
little
how you
water.
make Jello with water. When you make Jello, instead of adding water to it, it's how you know it. You add
add
your liquor. You put your liquor
alcohol,
in.
Really?
Yeah. And
Right.
then you just put it in the refrigerator, and it. Jello's up.
There are companies that do this and sell it
I
at
didn't
ABC
think
stores.
so.
I don't know.
I didn't know.
I don't think so. I don't buy that.
She made it at home
Not
and
even
brought
in-
it
According to
in.
this, she bought it at a store.
Yeah. Well, bought the
So she
ingredients.
says.
Bought the
Well, it
ingredients.
says right here. I'm gonna read you exactly what it says, and we can.
ABC stores don't sell Jello.
No, I don't think
in
they
any
sell
form.
Jello shots. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go look.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
it gets
looking
better.
right now.
Oh,
It
no.
gets better.
Can't get any better.
Some of the Jello shots were covered in whipped cream and strawberries, and others had just actual holiday.
Hey,
themes.
she didn't buy that anywhere.
Look at this. Jello shots can be purchased at grocery stores. You can find them in the baking supplies aisle or the section dedicated to disposable partyware. Some stores like Costco offer new Jello shots in 4 fruity flavors. Huh?
In Texas.
It doesn't say. This is just
There's no
an
way
AI
that you
generated
can do
one.
that in North Carolina.
Costco is selling pre-made boozy Jello shots.
If anybody, I want to know in North Carolina, can you buy that?
I'm
I'm
going to
just
Costco
curious.
this week.
Yeah, I mean,
they can
that's
sell
my
a
brother. He
24
loves
pack.
Costco.
Let's go to Costco.
Well, it gets
You
better.
can't
So
go-
it
go- why don't
says.
you can check out Sam's though. We don't have a Costco.
No,
It says Grissom, the school resource officer, contacted the store from which she purchased them, and the individual took the orders, agreed to share the exchange.
Wow.
And they say that the lady asked if there was alcohol in the Jello shots.
They say, who's they?
It just says the complaint alleges that Bernal asked that person that she purchased, who placed her Jello shot order, how many shots is this woman buying?
You
That
can
there was
order them.
alcohol. She asked if was there alcohol, which means she would have had to have known there was alcohol.
Kelly,
in
you
there.
can order them on Amazon.
Ooh.
Hey, really?
Amazon's got them. Yeah.
Jello shots?
Yeah. And it says as fast as 1 day with Prime.
Oh, Leah, we're placing an order. I mean, come on
Now,
now.
so did
And I
she
don't even
buy
know.
it on?
It gets
oh,
better.
no.
We
Okay.
don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
Well, how do you? First of all, you're
Grissom-
delivering it by the mail for that Amazon.
I would think it would be all liquefied. but-
Well, not only
Yeah.
that, but how about when you've got to safeguard that stuff when it's delivered? You can't
How do
send
you-
a machine gun by the mail, and because they got kids inside, they're not
Yeah.
supposed to have
Well,
it.
if it's Amazon Prime,
Yeah,
they've got them in those. They put in the freeze packs.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got that.
Oh, that's
so
true
that would,
too. Yeah.
so that would keep them.
Sam's Club.
That
Well,
Okay.
no,
I-
I
I'm-
wouldn't say that. It says cocktail flavored.
I'm going to read this
Great Booze sells them.
sentence and you deduce how you. Here's the sentence. Grissom, who I believe is the resource officer, Grissom also alleges that the Facebook ad from which Bernal placed her order clearly stated the shots were made with vodka.
Sam's Club.
Now, I don't know what
She ordered it on Facebook.
she
Facebook
saw.
ad.
She saw a Facebook ad. Yeah.
Here's one right here.
I've never
Sam's
seen a
Club.
Facebook ad with
Shotty's
it.
Party Ready Gelatin Shots. Premium alcohol Jello shots. 4 flavors. Strawberry, watermelon, blue raspberry, grape. All natural.
What kind of alcohol's in them?
It did not say. It just says
Alcohol is alcohol.
premium alcohol
First-
Jello shots.
First of all, I could see something.
Ooh.
ALE needs to be checking these stores that are advertising this in North
Yes.
Carolina. Because if that's the case, I guarantee you they can check out at the self checkout line.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just.
Man, all those hours making Jello shots, huh,
require
Kelly?
you to get somebody to come over to check your ID.
Man,
They
we
will if
gotta
you go buy a
order
bottle of
them.
wine.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
90
right.
years old, they're going to check
Yeah.
your ID at Sam's.
Yeah. I mean, this is scary. First of all, who thought Jello shots were even remotely a good idea? Is my first. I've never seen
I
Jello
don't
even
like,
served at
I
a
don't even
school
like
party.
Jello.
I don't like Jello, but I'll do a Jello shot, which is because it's
She
a
was
Jell-O
probably
shot.
trying
Just
to
drink the booze.
get them
instead.
something healthy.
I don't think there's nothing healthy about Jello. It's so gross.
Yeah, it's
Um,
going to be interesting to see.
We,
I
have
didn't
to,
believe
Lee,
that
we
is.
do have to follow this story.
I didn't believe
Sam's
you
has
could,
got them, Kelly.
you could take food into schools from home,
Right.
like
you
cookies,
But they've
brownies.
changed that.
parties.
You're right now because of allergies.
Yeah.
It's like I think how my daughter said you can purchase it from a store, but you can't make it. You know, back in the
Right.
day, we made stuff and brought it
Right.
into our kids'
Yeah.
classrooms.
Now
because of- yeah.
brownies and
Cupcakes and
cupcakes and stuff like that.
Now you have to buy them like from the bakery at the
With
at the store
Or
and
at
take
least
the
it.
that's what you
nutrition
say.
label.
It's a food allergy thing.
That's what you
Right.
say anyway, right?
That's what they say. They will turn that away.
because
It's a
we're
school
all
rule.
sick people these days.
It's a food
Everybody's
allergy
got
thing.
something.
So that's why.
Good God.
But yeah, so you can't, make your homemade, apple cobbler anymore or
This
whatever.
story.
Yeah, this story
All
is
the
like
fifth
wild.
graders are laid out drunk on
I'm
the
telling
floor.
you, you
Oh
get
my
kids
gosh.
vomiting, passed out. Once
you
you're passed out for the
imagine?
whole day, they said.
Could you imagine?
I'm telling you.
I feel
Yeah.
bad for the custodian.
I agree.
I feel bad for this poor little. Can I have some Jello, please?
How did you, I just don't. I'm just so confused over this.
My sentence
story.
to her, if I was the judge, would be you will be working the sanitation duty at that
Mhm.
school for the next
There
year.
you go.
Every day, you will be cleaning up that school after school.
You
or
know,
you will be working in the lunchroom washing
Community
dishes.
service, yes.
when that kid gets to be a teenager, everybody's going to want to go to that kid's house and hang out because they're like, Mom's giving out
We got
Jello
the party
shots and
mom.
everything else.
I don't
yeah.
think moms
got
could
the
be
party
giving out
mom.
anything.
But could you imagine?
You know,
Could
break
you
her
just,
habits.
in all fairness, imagine that she went into the store and said, "Oh, I'll get these Jello shots for the kids," not knowing there was
No
alcohol
way.
in them.
No way do I think this woman did not know.
Well, if they ask her for her ID when she showed up at the cash register, there's your clue.
There's a clue right there. Why do I have to
No,
show ID? to
But
buy
they
groceries?
said she asked.
And she
So
asked
she
if
had
they
to have known.
Hmm.
She's saying I didn't know, but they.
Well, maybe they
the store
told her.
clerk
Maybe
said she did ask.
Maybe somebody
I'm
said,
gonna follow
told
this
her
one to
no.
court.
But seriously, maybe she said, "Hey, you know, I've heard of Jello shots. This doesn't have any alcohol in it, does it?" No, no, no. I mean, she could have been told that
Then
by
it's not a Jello shot.
some 18-year-old clerk, 15-year-old clerk. You don't know what the
Uh-huh.
clerk there was.
I know this. In
Everybody's in trouble.
in 6 months, Lee, you're going to say, "Do not call me from 9 to 5. I'm following this
I'm
trial
in-
of
I'm
the
in
Jello
this
This
trial.
trial
shot."
out of Texas.
I'm in
It's
court.
the Jello shot trial.
Yeah, it's a Jello shot trial. Yeah.
Oh, I've got something real quick for you before you go to weather, because we were talking about boating safety, et cetera, yesterday. But now I want to bring up that U.S. Representative Don Davis, who's a Democrat from Snow Hill, North Carolina,
Uh-huh.
and U.S. Representative Don Bacon, and he's a
A
Democrat.
what? Bacon?
Don Bacon. He's a Democrat, but he's from Nebraska, are working together, and they have introduced H.R. 2973, the Coast Guard Combat Injured Tax Fairness Act, an act which ensures U.S. Coast Guard veterans receive the full benefits they earned through their service by closing a loophole in an existing law that failed to provide U.S. Coast Guard service members with tax breaks afforded to other
Yeah.
active duty personnel.
They were
Very good.
because
Yay.
Coast Guard until Homeland Security came into being.
Right.
The Coast Guard came under the Department of. Nope.
Homeland Security.
Wait, say that.
Well,
What was the
it's not
question again?
space.
What?
Force.
What did the Coast Guard come under? Do you think?
Oh.
You think the Department of the Navy? There is no Department of the
DND,
Coast
the
Guard.
DEN, the
Department of Transportation.
What?
The U.S. Department of Transportation
I
is
would've
what the
never
Coast
thought
Guard came
that.
under.
Huh.
Except in time of war,
Right.
they were transferred over to the Department of the Navy.
right.
Now that we have a federal organization that is basically law enforcement and you know, so it is now under Homeland Security, which is a good.
Yeah, well, it says in 2016, the Combat Injured Veterans Tax Fairness Act returned taxes that were improperly withheld from combat injured veterans of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. However, the Coast Guard personnel
Yep.
injured while serving in combat were not included.
Yeah.
Now, they're part of our military.
Now, in,
They're one of the
both in World War
branches.
II, they because the first submarine U-boat, German U-boat that was put down in North Carolina, off North Carolina, by a Coast Guard cutter traveling from New Haven, I think it was. It had just been retrofitted for anti-submarine warfare in May of 1942. It was on its way back to Charleston when the U-352 took a shot at it and missed. Well, it was a stupid miss, but they set the timer wrong. The distance was different. And they missed, and then the Coast Guard cutter came back. We used all this brand new stuff called depth charges for them. Coast Guard didn't have depth charges to go out and look for people and help them, but they did in World War II. And it was one of the first cutters that was put into operation, the Icarus, and it took care of that problem. And that was an interesting story. I talked with a crew member there, one of the crew members, not aboard the cutter, but aboard the boat, the German U-boat. Before he died, he was in his 80s in 2004. Anywho, but the Coast Guard during World War II, during that other one, Coast Guard boats, or Coast Guard people were working patrol boats up and down the rivers.
Mhm.
They were manning those. They were running the boats.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
yes, a lot were killed and a lot were injured.
I'm just so glad they're looking out for the Coast Guard. Yeah,
Mhm.
so.
Yes.
Raven, I got a story you're gonna like.
Okey-dokey.
Yesterday, 6:35 p.m. in Alabama. Inmate James Osgood,
See ya.
lethal injection.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And here's the best part of
What
this
took
one.
so long?
He was convicted in 2010. He didn't sit on there long as a lot of them did.
15 years is too
Yeah.
long.
But I mean, I agree. but not as long as some of them.
That's right.
But what is interesting, his victim was his girlfriend's cousin. His girlfriend participated too, and he didn't appeal it at all. He said, because I'm guilty of murder. He said, I believe an eye for eye, a tooth for a tooth. And what is the other thing is, he apologized to his victim's family, but he told him, I will not ask for your forgiveness.
Well,
Yeah.
they're not going to give it to him. I
Yeah,
hope.
that's what he said. He said they won't give it to me.
Come here.
So-
Let me see. Let me stick that needle in you.
Yeah, he got
'Cause
lethal
I'm
injection.
not going to get it first. So you,
Yeah.
you
It
still take a
wouldn't be
while.
like, it would be.
Yeah.
No, it'd be.
So he admitted to it.
He said he
He
did it.
said I did it, and they let him wait 15 years.
I agree, because
He
he's
should've-
like, I'm not appealing it.
Okay, I saw a special. Y'all need to look it up. I think it was on YouTube. There was something about the bombing in Oklahoma City,
Mhm.
Yes.
and that
Oh,
whole
man.
thing with real footage
Yeah,
of the whole thing, including the arrest of Timothy McVeigh.
I remember that,
The
yeah.
patrolman that stopped him,
hmm
and he was in court. The only reason he didn't he was stopped.
hmm
But the only reason he didn't have his trial on the first day that he could is because there was no court that day because of all the situation that was happening in Oklahoma City and in the area at the time. So he was in court on, I think, a Tuesday, and they were in court on a Tuesday, and he was in on a misdemeanor traffic offense of a gun illegally, a handgun. That would have been a walk. He would have walked out of there with a sentence, a suspended sentence, no doubt in my mind, none.
hmm
And they got the word. They got a positive ID on him in the 11th hour,
hmm
who he was. And then they found out where he was because the FBI, y'all can say what you want to about it, particularly in those days, they had a lot better stuff
They did.
than any local law enforcement's got. They
Mhm.
ran the name, and they ran him through every database in the United States of America. Computers were slower, but
Mhm.
they found out where he actually was at that point in his life, and he was sitting in a courtroom waiting, and they swarmed the courtroom,
hmm
Wow.
snatched him up. I don't think he ever got tried.
I saw that popped up on my
It's-
YouTube.
I'm gonna have to
the
watch
other day.
it.
Great one. It just don't get up. Just
I started
make your
to
head
watch
call
it.
first
Mhm.
and get your beverage and sit down and watch it.
I
Turn your
went-
phone off.
In 2012, I had to go to Oklahoma City to a national conference,
Mhm.
and I went to the Oklahoma City bombing memorial.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you what. I highly recommend every American make a trip to Oklahoma
yeah.
City and go to that thing. I cried from the moment, and y'all know I'm not a crier.
Yeah.
From the moment I walked through that door to the end, it is the most amazing but sad thing
Yeah.
I have ever witnessed in my life. And they've got this one section, a memorial to the kids.
Mhm.
It'll crush you. It'll crush your
I think there
soul.
were 19 kids that
Yeah.
died, something
It
like
is-
that.
Whoever designed that, it is. I have the photo. I have videos. It is the most. Whoever designed that memorial is a genius, but it is. It's right on the spot.
One of the survivors
It will-
that they had in it, they pulled her out
Yeah.
and skin of her teeth. They thought, so this is a federal building, so they had ATF up there, too,
Correct.
with FBI agents, everything.
Yeah.
But this guy, a good old, I think he's a bomb tech for the police department or sheriff's office there. He's looking up there, and he was also a veteran.
hmm
And he looks up there at the side of this building. He says, get everybody out now, because they were worried about when bad guys set off bombs.
Correct.
Sometimes they wait for a secondary bomb
Mhm.
Yeah.
for the first responders to arrive and they
Mhm.
set it off.
hmm
He looked up there and he says, oh my God, there's a Laws rocket up there.
Oh my goodness.
They had to evacuate, and they had to evacuate people who were pulling out survivors.
Yeah.
There was one woman that they had video and
Mhm.
everything else of her and what was going on. And of course, she was doing interviews after the fact too. And she worked she was a clerk, I think, in the
Mhm.
financial company working there. And they finally got up there, and he went up to get it. He went up on the cherry picker to go up to the higher level, and they got video of that. And they're easing that thing down and had it in a box. And they eased it down. It goes into the sheriff's office, bomb-proof
Right.
container. Supposedly they're not bomb-proof, but they do they'll contain most of it.
Yeah.
And they transported it out and burned it. It was a dummy that ATF was using as a training thing that they use for some of their training purposes.
Oh, wow.
And nobody from ATF jumped up and said, well, that's one of ours. It's just a dummy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But that was holy crap.
Wow. I mean, I do recommend
It's a great documentary.
I'm going to watch it. I
Yeah.
saw that it was
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw it come up on my YouTube
Yeah.
on
I think it's-
Oklahoma bomb.
Yeah,
It did.
I think mine was up on YouTube.
Mine
That's when
was
I
up
saw
on
it.
YouTube too, and I clicked on it, but then ended up my storm chaser was on,
Yeah.
so I clicked
Well,
back to him.
Well,
Didn't go
it's,
back.
it's not a reenacted dramatic
No, it's
situation.
just
This
it's
is real
real
footage.
Yeah,
Right,
one
yeah.
thing I like about YouTube when they do that is they show
Oh, it was there.
everything.
Yeah, and if you got an issue with language, don't watch it. But it
Yes.
is what it is.
Oh, there's no language barrier on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean,
None
it's-
whatsoever.
I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah,
I
you do.
definitely-
You
If I
do.
could
definitely
cross
watch
it,
And even better, they didn't keep him on death row a quadrillion years.
Well, he wanted to die.
Yeah.
He said, the jig's up. I'm done.
Whatever happened to the other guy, his like little accomplice?
Terry Nichols is
Yeah.
serving life.
Oh, he got life?
He's got several life sentences.
Okay.
I think 100 and however many deaths there were.
Mhm.
He was given life for every person who was killed up there.
Yeah, last night they talked
Such a
about
debatable
the
thing.
I wonder
Boston,
about him.
the Boston shooter
Hmm.
that killed 7 people.
Saw it on, yeah.
He got sentenced to 7 life sentences.
Well, now they're trying to appeal him.
I just turn him loose at a designated time, at a
Let the
designated
public,
date,
let the Boston
and
citizens
just say,
tear him down.
here he is.
Yeah.
We're going to turn him loose on the countryside, y'all.
Oh, they would tear him up. I know. That's still, I have family that live up there. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
that is still a very sore subject in
Uh-huh.
Boston.
It is.
Yeah. He's such a
Oh, we're gonna
smart
leave it.
guy.
There's only one tree along this road.
Hmm.
Bring your own rope.
Yeah.
Offshore out to 20 nautical miles today. Easterly winds about 5 knots, becoming southerly late this morning and afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 10 to 15, increasing to 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 4 feet, but they're kind of close together for 4-footers. 4 seconds apart. They're going to be choppy, y'all. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. Sunday, northerly winds 15 to 20, becoming northeasterly 10 to 15 in the afternoon. 25 knot gust on Sunday. Again, seas 2 to 4 feet. Net in a gusty situation, that ocean's going to be a bit choppier. So if you're out there and the seas are only running 2 to 4 feet, cool. If a thunderstorm is coming up, the winds are going to increase. They're going to get gusty. The ocean's going to get rough.
Agreed.
Yes.
Sloppy.
Yes.
Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. Keep your VHF Marine radios on. And if you've got one, either lock it on channel 16 or put it on scan with a weather alert.
Right. Put your vest on.
You should have weather alert on there and always punch that weather
Right.
alert. So it's
Right.
just like having your weather radio at home. Gotcha. You got it. Go.
All right. Today, partly sunny, a high of 81. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 64. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a high of 81. Winds from the southwest, 7 to 10 miles an hour, but we will have 16-mile-an-hour gusts, 50% chance of rain. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 57, 40% chance of rain. On Sunday, sunny, high of 75, no chance of rain. And
Now,
gusty.
For you guys, again, we're going to do a few things here this weekend, tomorrow, beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning at the farmer's market out on 258. That's known as the Richlands Highway. I want to talk about
Right.
that when I get through with this, by the way.
Oh,
The Richlands
no.
Highway, and it's out near the Northwest corridor.
Yeah, right. Just a little past where you turn to go to
when
the
you go to the
government.
red light, slow your butt down, take a
Right.
right right after that. It
Yes.
used to be the seniors.
Used to
Yeah,
be the
senior
senior center,
citizen.
and
That's
they-
where the farmer's market's
Yeah,
at.
They
okay.
have a ton of signs. along
Yes.
the
They
road.
do. So slow down as you approach it.
Right.
Or you're going to turn around and have to come back otherwise. I've had to do that several
Don't do that
times.
on Richlands Highway.
At 8 o'clock in the morning, it starts. The master gardeners are going to have, they're hosting this big plant sale.
Yes.
Veggies for your garden. It ain't too late, y'all. It's in fact with the later spring that we had with the colder weather. We had temperatures in the 30s earlier this month. In case you didn't know it, didn't remember it. So with the later spring, it's not too late to plant your tomatoes,
Right.
your squash, your cucumbers, your peppers. I've only had one plant to die.
I've
Apparently,
only had one.
it was one of the 4 cantaloupe plants that I got.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I planted
Yeah,
those.
they're fussy.
And but I've got everything else is growing out there, and I've got one extra bed so far, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm sure I'll find something.
Right. The North Carolina Cooperative Extension is also going to be out there.
Good.
And, you can take soil samples out there tomorrow morning and they will test your soil
Will
to
they send it off, or will they test it there?
well, supposedly, from what she said, they'll test it
Okay.
right there and tell you what you need for your soil.
Okay, now if you're testing it for your yard,
Mhm.
not just your little garden plot there, test it from different corners of your yard.
At least 3 different places.
At least 3 different places. So they'll
Put
get
it
some
all
of
in the same
average.
bag.
And that way you'll get an idea of what to do
Yes.
to put what kind of fertilizer or none down, what kind
I
of
just hope I don't
specialist
dig
you
up
like.
any moles when I dig up some soil. I'm going to throw a mole in the bag.
I'm using worms right now, trying to get rid of them.
Man.
Trying to get rid of the moles.
Yeah,
I've got some spray that I
Worms?
got.
Peanuts
they're
work.
the ones you get from the exterminators, and it's
Right.
actually, I noticed it last night when I put one in. It's the same thing that they say they'll spray on your yard. to
Yeah,
get rid
I
of
got the
Really?
spray. I haven't put it down
I
yet.
didn't even know anything about that. I just knew about the spring-loaded mole traps that
No,
I
I
used to
can't
use.
do that. I use that. It's a castor
right.
oil spray
It works.
because
Really?
Oh God, yes, I nailed a bunch of
I'm
them.
not pulling those suckers up and having them take them off. Mm-mm, no. Mm-mm.
No, that's what you use your kids for.
Mm.
They don't know the difference. They think it's
Hell,
cool.
anybody but
And
me.
then also, as soon as you leave from there, you can hurry on down. And I would get to the plant place early,
Yes.
okay?
It's 8 to
Because
12.
once they don't have any more, then they don't have any more.
That's
You
right.
can also check out their supply of trees if you want some fruit trees or other decorative trees or whatever. They'll have some stuff that grows here.
Yeah, this is all local stuff.
You know, those giant redwood trees out in California, no, they're not going to grow here. So don't even worry about that.
Yeah.
So get some stuff that works. Dogwood, some apple trees, various
Right.
fruit trees work. Do things that work here. And this is the place to go to get it. Duh. Don't order online.
Mhm.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Mm.
And I've never ordered anything online that I had more than a 50% success rate. Never.
Understand
So-
that. Understand
So
that.
you need to order at least twice what you want because you're going to be
Right.
replanting. Now, after you leave from there, head on down US 17 South. Head down to Holly Ridge. Go to the ridge and you'll see signs. It says Bee Festival. You be nice.
Be happy.
You'll get a buzz.
Oh,
Not with
well.
Jello shots.
You'll
No
be
stings.
glad.
There won't be any stings involved.
You be glad
You
you
be-
went.
You be happy, and you'll guaranteed you'll be finding some honey there.
Yes,
from
local honey.
bees. Local honey, good for
I
your.
bought some the last year.
If you've got allergies and around here, who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't? A biscuit with a hot biscuit in the mornings with honey on it.
I'm having when I get home.
Make you want to. What is it? Tim says, make you babies want to be born naked
Oh God.
or something.
Yes.
I don't know what
yes.
he
I
said
could
something.
believe that's what he said.
And make you want to slap somebody too.
No.
So I'd do that anyway. I don't need honey for that. But anyway, that's going to be happening tomorrow, beginning late morning. I forgot when it is, mid morning, something like that. 10 o'clock, I think, is when they start
I have
gathering.
it right here on the inner comments.
So
put it in
go down there and look for a redhead
found
who's
it.
going to be talking a lot.
Right.
I hope she's on.
Future mayor.
Yeah.
Future mayor in the works.
Mayoral candidate.
Yes.
Dorothy Royal will be there. She'll be hanging around everywhere, and she's got the arcade there too, and the gun store
I
you're
think
connected.
last year she closed the gun
Yeah.
sales
during the
during
festival. Yeah.
this.
And you won't be able to get Jello shots in there.
10 to 3
No.
tomorrow. And it's located at the Paradise Accent Arcade in Holly Ridge, but it's 10 to 3.
Yep. Okay.
Do you know what they could do on their way back into Jacksonville?
Saturday what?
they could get Crime Stopper, Smithfield's
Absolutely.
chicken or barbecue.
Now, the way you can, I did that. What is tonight? I did that Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we went over and I got a chicken and Robbie got a barbecue. So we got dead bird and dead pig and brought it home and ate it. I wasn't able to finish it all.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got it. I said, how much more? Nothing. This ticket covers everything. Cool.
Oh my
Good.
goodness.
So I got it. You want to eat it here? No, I'm taking it home. I'm wasting the car.
If you've bought some, you have 5 days counting today to use them because it's till the end of April. If
Yep.
you haven't, give me a call.
Buy some now.
Yeah.
You'll do Crime Stopper some good. You might be able to make some money off the deal one day. You never can tell. Crime Stoppers, it's a great organization. They are responsible. They're single-handedly responsible for identifying and helping put a lot of bad people where they belong, in jail.
And I've actually got a big order I'm getting ready to leave to go get picked up to deliver it to them.
Oh,
I
really?
still have one more ticket. I
Yeah.
may use it tonight.
Big order.
Hmm.
Coastal Enterprises.
Well, I got
Very
the dark
nice.
chicken, and I got the potato salad, and the slaw. The
Yeah, I have to have
slaw, by the
white
way,
chicken.
is
Yeah.
really good. It's
Oh, I
sweet
love
enough
their
to
slaw.
eat without being that too vinegary.
Mhm.
Too vinegary,
You know-
I don't like. They
Mhm.
got theirs right, and their potato salad. Oh, so good.
You know what else I like?
Pork rinds.
Banana pudding.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to look
I
at it.
finally
next
made
time.
myself some this week.
I'd already done everything and got my order.
Right.
Walking out of the door, and I'm looking there on the counter, and they got something called
Pecan pie.
no. They
No.
got two things: seafood breader. Got that. I know what that is.
Yes,
But they got hush puppy mix. So I said, oh, come here.
Oh,
She
yes.
came over. She said, what? Is everything right? I said, yep. Is this the same mix that you use to make your hush puppies
Mhm.
here? She said, it is. Good. When I come back, that's going to be my next purchase because their hush puppies are really good. I did read on the package there. Now, when you mix it up, you take that first spoonful, ladleful, and put it in the grease at the temperature that
Right.
is said, and then let it cook accordingly. Now, then you adjust either the consistency of the mix. You can, if it's too thick, no good. If it's too watery, no good. Too watery, it just flows out and looks like a pancake. But if it's, well, seriously, that's what happens. They call those fritters there, cornbread
Yeah.
fritters or whatever. But for a hush puppy, you want it just right. And if it cooks too fast and it's doughy inside, but kind of hot on the outside, burnished looking, you think it's done. But if it's kind of doughy inside, reduce the temperature of the oil.
Oh.
Hello. That's what they tell you on the package. I don't know this because I've never cooked hush puppies, but I'm gonna.
Mhm.
So that little bag I will have, and I'll be making some hush puppies because hush puppies with butter. The other thing they even tell you, you can cook up when you cook up a bunch of them, or take a bunch from Smithfield's home with you. You don't eat all that stuff.
I just
Freeze them.
put them in
Yeah.
baggies
I
and
never knew
munch
that.
on them for the next couple days.
I never
love
knew you
them.
could freeze them. I've got them in, and
Right.
all I do is stick them in the air fryer just to warm them up.
Mhm.
I don't want them cooking, just to warm them up so they'll melt the butter when I put it on them.
Yeah. Yeah. The last
Now y'all hungry?
the dinner I got a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago from Smithfield, I could not eat all the hush puppies
yeah.
in one meal. So
Yeah.
I bagged them
Yeah.
up in a baggie. And then late that night, I was a little hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry. So I just went and grabbed those.
She
and
had the
just-
munchies.
They were so good. But nobody makes hush puppies like the Ark did.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, these are pretty close. I will tell
They
you.
were fluffy and they were more like a donut type
Mhm.
than they were anything. They were so good.
Well, you know, when we used to do it at the mall and
So good.
the people would drive up to get their plates or
Yes.
we would deliver them to schools and whatever. Sam Bright.
Oh, yeah,
Sam.
He could make some.
Amazing
He
man.
was
Amazing
famous.
man.
There's such a-
Yes.
Could
yes,
cook some fish
yes.
too.
Oh yeah,
He could fry some flounder like you've never had before.
Speaking of fish, Lee's going to be, I think, soon talking to the Shriners, maybe
Yes, yes, because
Oh.
they have their big
Oh.
fish fry coming
next
up.
Friday.
Next Friday.
So
Next
I'm
Friday
going to
tickets.
try to get a hold of somebody today because usually Mandy Drawtree calls in every
You
year.
get Mandy to come in. Tell him to go ahead and
So-
bring me 2 tickets. I'll buy them when he gets here.
Yes. So I'm going to try to talk to him today and see what we can work out because that's a very important fundraiser.
When I talked to him last night, this will be 50 years.
Really?
That he's been frying
50
fish.
years.
50 years.
He's old.
He could have started when he was a baby boomer,
If he started like me when he was
a
27,
Gen Xer.
Yeah.
that would be 77 now. Okay.
Oh
Duh.
my gosh.
Well, like you, he's fishing. He spends a lot of time.
Is he catching?
Good for him.
Oh my goodness.
That's the
yes.
difference.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Does he still have his place right there on Onslow Drive?
No.
I thought they had closed that a long time ago, right?
Yeah, he sold that some
Yeah.
military veterans own it now.
What place is that?
Used to be Daughtry's Exxon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
That's good.
Daughtry's Automotive. And,
Yes.
then his son-
You're talking about at New River Drive and
No,
Market
we're talking
Street?
about
Onslow
Onslow,
Drive.
right across from
used to be
the furniture
New
store.
River Pottery.
And now it went to
Oh,
New River Pottery,
okay.
and now it's
Well,
chic,
His dad.
antique.
his dad had.
His dad had that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Because that's what I knew.
Yeah. I just knew him for the one on Onslow Drive.
It stayed in the family.
Here's some news coming out of Onslow County. Be on the lookout for a suspect after investigators say a Ring doorbell camera caught him exposing himself
He ain't a suspect.
before taking off.
He's the guy with his drawers hanging down.
Well, the picture I saw, well, anyway,
What?
there's a lot of buzz on social media about it. Some saying incidents like this have been happening for almost 2 years. Authorities say, though, this is the first they've heard of this specific incident, but say it is a common issue in this city. But supposedly, this is been happening in the Piney Green area.
Oh,
The
okay.
Onslow County Sheriff's Office did post a picture yesterday. No, he had his pants on, I will say.
Okay, yeah, that's where you were going.
His jacket was open and his hand was placed on the left side of his chest. I will say the comments off of this
Nobody
were
knows who he is.
the usual comments that you
Did
would
he have a mask on?
expect. No. But Major Mark Scott, says that they are now increasing patrols in the area, Piney Green area. They're also coordinating with neighborhood
Now,
watch groups.
here's the way to identify him
Oh,
later.
the
If you
comments.
see it
I'm looking.
happening,
I'm trying to pull it up.
if you see it happening in your Ring doorbell, you run out there just as fast as you can with a can of mace. You will ruin his life.
I'm going to tell you now, mine is set that when anybody approaches like that, I'm going to get notification there's a person detected. But I know right where my keys are. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to hit that alarm on that truck key. Scare him. Just
I
to
don't
scare
scare
him.
him. I just like to mace him.
I'm not opening the door to him.
Pepper spray.
This is what
Not
he
the
wants you to
face.
do. They're saying this is what he wants you to do is
Not-
to open the door.
Not if he ends up with pepper spray on the
I'm-
right spots.
No, because I told you what happens when I spray mace. The
It would
wind
be
is
worth
wrong.
it.
The wind is always
It
wrong.
would be worth it.
When these things show up on
Oh, this
like
is a grainy photo, but
Greater-
somebody got
Yes.
enough. of
Greater
this guy.
Bryn Mawr,
Yeah.
Greater
Okay.
Regalwood,
Right,
whatever.
right.
My post to them always is
Have
contact,
you
call
notified
Crime
the cops?
Stoppers, call Crime Stoppers, and let them have that. They'll find that person.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They'll
yeah.
find that person.
And they'll probably send you a check.
It's a good
cash.
opportunity.
You'll get some cash if you want it.
Good
If
opportunity.
they arrest this dude, you'll get some cash. Hello.
It'll be on
Crime Stoppers kind of like a vigilante group, but legal. Think about it.
Well,
No,
no,
I
we
am.
just listen to the tips that law enforcement gives us
Ooh.
that they've received from the public.
But you're encouraging us to take the law
Get
into their own
involved.
hands and
See it, say
it. It's a great organization, folks. It's a wonderful group of people, and the cause is wonderful. I make some fun of it because the funniest Crime Stopper, because back in the day we started one. I was involved in starting one in Wilmington.
Mhm.
And then they wanted one because we covered in TV. We covered Myrtle Beach in those days. They didn't have TV there, really, honestly, not news. So it was part of in our market area. So then they wanted one in Myrtle Beach. So I went down there, and then we started. What we did was once a month there was a reenactment of a crime that the police were having issues with, burglaries, all sorts of stuff like that. And they would give information, and then they would find somebody, and we would recreate the crime and shoot it as though the bad guy, never anybody that's really too identifiable.
Mhm.
And they had a rape in Myrtle Beach. And Crime Stoppers, the people there, Crime Stoppers, and they wanted me to come down and do a reenactment for this rape. It was a vicious rape. And the victim that was picked was the actual victim. She wanted to do it.
All right.
Now here is the kicker on that one. There are two great Crime Stopper stories that I was involved in. The guy saw the reenactment and thought they had video of him because he saw the victim. He turned himself in.
Wow.
The other one was the mama of a guy. She recognized everything that happened to him. I know that. I know exactly who that was. That was a grandmother. It was my grandson. She called the cops on him.
Wow. 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 Wow.
It works, people.
It does.
Whatever it takes, it works.
Kelly, thinking back, I think the best comments were when the Roadblocks page posted that
Let me do
picture.
that one because
It's
these are
Robin.
pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, some of them Robin, I blushed when I read them, and it takes a lot
I'm
to.
gonna go to Roadblock.
You
page
blush?
and check
You
that,
blush,
but
yes.
The sheriff's office page comments are still amazing.
Yeah, go to the Roadblocks.
All right, let me go to that one.
It was just
Well, fresh from Nashville, Tennessee, the land of opportunity, the land of music, the land of Eastern cowboys.
Did you go see Luke?
The land of the derelicts in the street. We have Robin with us. Hey, Robin.
Well, the last line is appropriate. The land of derelicts, that's for sure. Yeah, hey, I just wanted to chime in. I know Chris has been talking about Crime Stoppers and all that. I went to the ceremony there. I think it was like last week sometime or whatnot, Chris.
Yes, sir.
For I don't know if it was the 100th year or what? I can't remember.
25th year. Or 25th
25th year, yeah. So and it was really nice to see a lot of my NCIS counterparts that I worked with, former boss and all that, are part of the committee. It was good to see Donnie Worrell and Colonel Winessa again. It was a great ceremony, and you guys ought to be proud of what you're doing. It's a very important function, and that's
Thank you.
something that we as law enforcement and we as commissioners, Alonzo County commissioners, are very proud of. It's a great program, and I tell you what, keep up the good work and keep pushing for Wreaths of America. I think what you're doing is very noble.
Thank you,
And I
Robin.
think what you're doing is very patriotic, and you'll always have at least one commissioner's support. I know you have all the commissioner's support, but I can't speak for them, but you'll have at least mine for sure. And
Thank
I
you
just
so
want to say
much.
thanks, Mark, for everything that you're doing, Chris, thank you for everything you do and what you continue to do for both programs.
Thank you. And thank you for what you do for Onslow County.
Robin, the only question I've got, I don't care that they've got one county commissioner. I just want to know who doesn't support it. I'll take care of that problem.
Ooh.
I don't think you'll find anybody on that board that does not.
Not now, you
I think
won't.
yeah, they all support it, and it's great to see. And
I'm glad.
one other thing, there was a recent article, if you haven't seen, and I'm sure you have, of Sharon Russell becoming the Carteret County manager.
Yeah, we've
Absolutely.
already talked about it. Yes.
That was my big story
Yes.
Yeah, that's great news. You know, she was the interim attorney for the county, got appointed as interim county manager, and now she's the permanent county manager of Carteret County. And I'm here to tell you, Carteret County got a diamond. They got a pure diamond
they
this year.
Yeah.
week.
And she was an outstanding county manager for us. And she had a lot of respect from the board members and from her employees. So I wish her the best. And I'm very happy for her and her husband on their next adventure. And I'm sure she's going to do great things for Carteret County. That's for sure.
Most
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I
Most
sent my
definitely.
congrats to her.
Absolutely.
And,
I'm sure she's very happy
all right,
where she's at.
Robin, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
I mentioned back when I was doing something here about the Richlands Highway.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there's a Richlands Highway. That's Highway 258/24,
Right.
right? Runs from here to Richlands.
Mm-hmm.
Now, There is the Burgaw Highway. We know about
Right.
that. There's Highway 53
Highway
runs from here
53,
to
right.
Burgaw. There is the New Bern Highway
Mm-hmm.
that runs from Jacksonville to New Bern.
It
Highway
starts at
17.
Mobile, Pontiac.
Okay,
Mhm.
right, got it. When I came through Burgaw the other day, last Tuesday, coming back from South Carolina, I got on at 53 because I had never paid any attention to it, and it said Jacksonville Highway.
Jacksonville.
I get
Highway.
on the highway coming from New Bern last week, and you reach a point way up there and way up the road, and it says Jacksonville Highway instead
I
of New Bern
never-
Highway.
I never
I
noticed
gotta
that. I just
look
never
at
noticed
I do
that.
not know that the Richlands Highway ever pays any attention that says, coming from Richlands, it says the Jacksonville Highway.
That's something new. I've got to check
Yeah.
that out.
I noticed that.
Y'all never noticed that?
No.
No, never seen that.
Well,
I've
and
seen
then-
the Welcome to Onslow
and then
County
there's the
sign.
Wilmington
Yeah.
Highway. Do you
That's
ever
about
see one down towards Wilmington that says Jacksonville Highway?
No,
But
it's
you
just
see it all
always
the way from here to
Ocean
Wilmington.
Highway
Uh-huh.
or Wilmington Highway
Oh.
or 17 South. That's the
Oh.
three that is referred to.
But if you're coming out of Wilmington, shouldn't it say the Jacksonville Highway? Okay, DOT, DOT, y'all got some work
Oh,
to do.
don't be
You need to
giving
fix
them
this mess.
something
You
to
need
do.
to fix
Oh
this
my
mess.
gosh. Hey,
I'm gonna get some
yesterday,
signs and protest.
when you went on your rant, which I agree
Which
with you,
one?
about the whole votes being the Jefferson Griffin versus
Oh, yeah.
Allison Riggs whole thing. Well, former Governor Pat McCrory has jumped into the affray now.
Oh, goody.
He is standing up for Riggs and urging Griffin to accept the election results. In late April, this past April, a video for Common Cause North Carolina, in that McCrory argued, "We all know how spin helps with elections. We see it in campaign commercials, stump speeches, and candidate debates right up to the final votes are counted. But months after Election Day, Republicans in Raleigh are still spinning in the race for North Carolina Supreme Court." He continued, "It's the only election in the country that still hasn't been decided. Democratic Allison Griffin beat Republican Jefferson Griffin by 735 votes, but Griffin is soon to have thousands of ballots, mostly from military families stationed overseas, tossed out. Those are the facts. Now here's the spin. Republicans are saying these votes for Supreme Court don't count because overseas military voters didn't show ID. In fact, the state never even asked them for ID." So, former Governor Pat McCrory's got a lot to
Hey,
say.
Pat, you and I get along pretty well. We always did. Now here's the thing, other thing
Right.
that I was thinking about. Okay, there's 734 votes difference, right?
Mhm.
Right now,
Yes.
734.
Yes.
Do you think that given the general average of everything else that occurred during that election with that 734 votes, that's a pretty close election so far, right? Do you think there's going to be enough votes at stake to show that without having to go $1 million worth of expenses
Right.
that we can't afford, should not have to afford
Agree.
my money?
Right.
That's why I've got to pay the state of
I
North
mean, I see
Carolina.
both sides.
I understand that. But do you think it's going to matter at all in the end? What if, let me do the two biggest words in the dictionary.
Mhm.
What if he does spend all this money, we spend all this money, and he gets down and he still loses? What are we going to ever think of him again? Would you ever vote for him again? I wouldn't vote for him for dog catcher because I like dogs too much.
McCrory said, "I supported Jefferson for Supreme Court. I wanted him to win, but spinning your way into a Supreme Court seat isn't the way to do it. Sorry, fellow Republicans, you can't spin your way out of this one." Strong
I
words.
got him. He's
Strong words.
like
I
the
don't
man.
ever see him throwing his name on the ballot for anything anymore.
no, well, that bathroom thing screwed him up.
Yeah, it did.
that
But you know, he
toll
ran for
roads, it
Congress.
didn't
Well, he
happen.
tried to run for Congress, and then Trump ended up bashing him at a dinner at the state convention. It was
'Cause
not pleasant.
He didn't consider himself. He
No.
didn't consider Pat.
Oh,
a
he
strong
flat out told him right in
supporter.
front of all of us, "Oh, you're a two-time loser." I'm like,
Yeah.
We were like, "Oh, he did not say that." For those of us who like Pat McCrory.
Yeah. Okie British Prime Minister.
No, what?
They've had this thing over there about the biological women thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, British Prime Minister Starmer, who did not support if you're a woman, you can't, even if you ever were a woman, you won't be able to play in women's, if you ever were a man, you can't play in women's sports. He didn't support that. However, since the British Supreme Court has ruled that only biological women are women, he is now saying that's a welcome step forward. In the historic decision, the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom unanimously ruled last Wednesday, a week ago, that the legal definition of a woman is based on biological sex. Now, some of y'all don't maybe not understand those two words. I'm not going to explain it to you. You're too dumb to pay attention. As a result, biological males who identify as women can be excluded from some single-sex spaces, bathrooms, and groups under the country's Equality Act. Starmer, who leads the left-wing Labour Party, spoke with the news organization there, ITV News, in his first public comments about the court's decision. When asked whether he believes a trans woman is a woman, he replied, "Look, I think the Supreme Court has answered that question." Well, Mr. Prime Minister, I, for one, totally agree with you. The court has spoken. Shut the heck up.
Wow.
Clean that one up too.
Yes, you
Very
did.
nicely done.
The former New Mexico judge who resigned last month, you haven't seen the story. I'll bet you didn't pay that much attention to it because it wasn't covered that much. A former New Mexico judge who resigned last month after an alleged TDA member was arrested at his home can never serve on a bench in that state again, any kind of judicial bench. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court of New Mexico ordered that Joel Cano can never hold a judicial office again, be a candidate for a judicial office, and cannot exercise any judicial authority of the state, including he can't even officiate at a wedding. Whoops. The court was scheduled to hear oral arguments on disciplinary cases this Thursday, but the argument has been vacated since the cases have been resolved. Cano served as in the Dona Ana County Magistrate, I've never heard of that place, court in Las Cruces. His resignation letter is dated March 3rd, but it was not received by the Supreme Court and the 3rd Judicial District until March 31st. Back in January, Homeland Security investigations in Las Cruces began looking into Venezuelan native Christian Ortega Lopez, an illegal alien from Venezuela and a member of a criminal gang who was residing with other illegal aliens and was in possession of guns. On the 28th of February, 2 search warrants were executed at a home investigators identified as owned by Cano's wife. Cano, remember, is the judge.
Right.
A home owned by his wife,
Right.
Nancy Cano. Ortega Lopez and his roommates were taken into custody, and agents seized 4 guns from her residence. Ortega Lopez was found by investigators posing with weapons in social media posts, some of which he said were owned by April Cano, who allowed him to hold and sometimes shoot various firearms.
Oh my gosh.
You,
Dummies.
Yeah.
if you all got an illegal alien working for you, some of you in the construction world that I know, if you've got one of those folks working for you and you decide to go out hunting or target practice and you let them hold a gun or shoot a gun, you're in violation of U.S. laws. You
I wasn't
understand
sure
that?
where you were going with that.
You can have yourself a world of trouble.
Yes.
you go.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't socialize with them. Don't condone them. Don't rent to them. And don't hire them. And if you're dumb enough to do any of the above, don't let them hold a gun, because if they can't get them on anything else, they'll get them and you.
Right.
Got it?
Right. Well,
I mean,
Kelly, I've got a sad story for us. I know how you like to watch the baby eagles like I like to watch them. Just last weekend in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, 3 baby bald eagles were killed over the weekend when their
God.
nest was blown out of a tree during a sudden windstorm.
Oh no!
Now, this nest is 90 feet up in the air, and they had a freak windstorm come through, 75-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, Lord.
That's
This
so
nest is
sad.
22 years old and located in West Virginia at the National Conservation Training Center.
It was blown out. It's 22 years old.
22 years old, the nest was.
They need to build that thing back and build it out of
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
sturdy.
Yes, but 3 baby eaglets
Oh.
just got knocked out
That's
of
awful.
the tree.
Well, Rayford, I just pulled up something
So sad.
from the thing in Eden. The driver of the dump truck was 66.
Oh, my
They've
gosh.
named him.
Have a medical issue.
And then I don't recognize the name, but I'm wondering. I have a suspicion I might know who this guy is. And then so 6 linemen were at the intersection, obviously doing whatever it was they were doing.
Mhm.
The oldest is 72. The
Good
youngest
God.
was 24.
So
We're having to
sad.
work until we're going to die, y'all.
Yeah.
So sad.
I'm betting he was like a supervisor. So the 72-year-old was killed. A 47-year-old guy was killed. 35-year-old was killed, and a 30-year-old.
Jesus.
The 24-year-old and the 34-year-old are in the hospital. The 24-year-old appears to be very seriously injured, and the 34-year-old.
The truck driver?
So the truck driver, so after the truck, according to this, struck the men, it continued north, hit an occupied bucket truck, and then traveled off the road before colliding with a ditch.
So he was out.
That's why I thought that I got the impression that there was actually somebody in the buckets.
He hit that too, but they were standing on the road, probably doing whatever they were doing.
Right.
He ran, they
Four
say
others
he
were
ran
hurt
a
though,
stop
right?
sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Now he ran the stop sign.
He
Did he
ran the
just
stop
did he
sign.
roll through it? Did he stop and go?
It
Or
just said he, how did they word this?
'Cause,
Failed to stop. The highway patrol is saying he was traveling north on Carroll Street, because I knew he wasn't on Church based on the fact that
Okay.
he would have not had to stop. It's not a 4-way stop.
there's lots of things
He
they're
was
going to have to
traveling north
do.
on Carroll Street in a City of Eden dump truck
Okay.
when he failed to stop at his stop sign at
It's
the
terrible.
intersection of
failure?
Carroll and
I would check that.
Oh,
I'm sure they
right.
are.
I'm thinking
Right.
either medical or brake failure
Could be just
Vehicle.
simply
But
a
if-
case of not paying
or
attention.
not paying attention.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. It's so
They
If
said
sad.
he drives that street,
He would have to
if
drive it
he's
because
there,
this is
if
right
he's
there.
a city worker,
He's a city
he should
worker.
know it.
You
He
would
would
think
def-
so.
that's what I'm
You would
Right.
think so.
I mean, it's
that
just-
is so sad.
And this is like, now, like I said, this where he's
I-
at is at the bottom of a hill. You know to stop there because the car's coming down. I mean,
You've got
And
the
it's-
guy's name.
yeah, his name is
Well, we don't have time now, but I'll
Michael Ray Vernon. He's
Vernon.
66. Vernon. Yeah, he's 66.
Very,
It can
very
happen.
sad indeed.
That's and yeah, it is all awful.
They charged him with a stop sign violation and misdemeanor death by motor vehicle.
First of all, when you're a lineman like
How
that,
old is he?
66.
when you're a lineman like that, your biggest worry is getting electrocuted, not
Yeah,
being
not,
run
running
over
around.
by.
not when I'm standing on the road, either pulling pipe
Right.
wires or whatever it was they were doing.
Not getting run
Being hit
over
by
by
a giant dump truck.
Oh man!
Some
Yeah.
tells me they're going to get OSHA involved as well.
Oh,
People
yeah.
will
So
decide.
will be.
I would
Yes.
think so. Yeah.
Workplace death. Oh yes.
Yep.
Oh
Very
yes. Wow.
People just go to work thinking I'm
Who?
going to be able to do my job.
Michael Ray.
Yeah, Michael Ray Vernon, 66.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We have details.
We had a long ooh.
Felony B&E.
Oh,
This
Yeah.
is in Dare County.
No, this will be in Rockingham
Well, I
County.
understand that, but the
Yeah.
felony B&E was in Dare. Way back when, 2007.
Yeah.
He spent some time in the jailhouse at the Terrell County Work Farm. First degree trespass, resisting a cop,
Uh-oh.
violation of local ordinance. Don't know what that ordinance was. All of that was in Dare County, it looks like.
Wow.
So Michael R. Let's see if that's.
Michael Ray
I got
Vernon.
that. Let me just check to see what it
66.
is. Yeah, all this guy is Michael R. Vernon, age 66, male, white. So.
I mean, I don't know what the city of Eden's criteria are for hiring workers,
Anybody they can get.
but I would
likely.
think in a dump truck you'd have to have a CDL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, driver's license revoked in 2004. DWI level 1 in 2001. DWI level 1 in 2002. Felony B&E, larceny over, my God, tampering with a motor vehicle. Larceny, 2 more misdemeanors, common law robbery, larceny of a motor vehicle. Do I need to stop now? Felony B&E.
Well, if it's the same- I'm
If
gonna
it's
see
the
what I can
same
find
guy, then
out,
the
yeah.
city of Eden is going to
Now
be
we
held.
have 4 counts of
You can
manslaughter.
rest assured that if this is the same guy,
Yeah.
there's going to be a problem.
I'll see what I can find out this weekend from my peeps there. And
Okay,
I'll get back to you.
Race
Yeah.
will be important.
Yeah.
That'll decide. But Michael R. Vernon is not like there's a million of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Ray Vernon, 66.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
follow that story
I'm gonna check it
definitely.
out. Yeah.
Definitely.
Kelly
Okay.
gets more info. for
Well,
us.
it is Michael Ray Vernon.
Right.
Michael Ray
I
Vernon,
found
yep.
the rest of it here.
Yeah. Michael Ray. Yeah.
Got an extensive traffic problem.
Who is
And
hiring
others.
in Eden?
I
Come
just-
on now. Because I went to high school with the mayor.
Did
I
they
know
say
the
it was
mayor.
a city dump truck
It's
or
the city of
private-
Eden.
And
Yeah.
they didn't do a back.
Well, if they did.
they
Tampering
did,
with a
they-
vehicle,
they suck at background
everything else
checks.
that they did.
Two W
Two
DWIs.
DWIs.
Should have never.
Oh,
My
yeah.
opinion.
Somebody's going to lose their job.
Should.
Just saying.
I see a huge lawsuit.
I'll
do
bet you
too.
the local media hasn't even run it.
Kelly, we're going to have
Oh,
to
I'm
sell the
sure, yeah.
YMCA out there.
Yeah.
Pay for
I
the
need to
lawsuit.
give
yeah.
lessons to media, don't I?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
just,
you do,
That's
'cause-
all there is to it. It's
So-
because I'm just going public records. I don't even go through
Right.
the other stuff. Don't need to.
Yeah. Wow.
My goodness.
Okay,
Well,
Chris, it's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And
Great
you're welcome.
week.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Every
anytime
time.
Had a
All
good time.
day.
can.
Thank you. Had a great
Come
time.
in and sit in for me. I need to take some time off if the fishing ever starts up.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the speckled trout comes back in here in June, when it's legal to catch them
right.
and keep them.
Let's go. I want to go.
What's this? Let's go.
I want to go. I'll give you money for
This
gas.
will be the little boat.
It won't be a lot. I can't afford the gas on that boat.
No, this is the little boat.
Oh, the
the
little
big boat
boat.
is
Yeah.
not going to go catch speckled trout up in 2 feet of water
Oh, okay.
in a creek that that boat cannot even turn
I'm
around
thinking
in.
Fresh trout. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking
It's the little boat, but it's okay. The little boat will hold 2 or 3 people, no
yes,
problem.
Yes.
And you know the most fun in that little boat?
What's
To
that?
head for Sneeze Ferry and get out there when the water gets a little bit warmer and go clamming.
Watch
Yeah.
out for the boat waves. God, we were just talking about it
The
yesterday.
wakes.
The wakes. Yeah.
The wakes.
I just
The wakes.
yes.
The wakes.
Yeah, because we were
You
just
got
talking
an
about the story out of
experienced
Masonburg.
They have wakes
Inlet.
out there. They have
Well, you're in a
wa-
smaller boat. I don't say we have to watch out for the wakes.
I've had a smaller boat all my life. I've always been in smaller
You know,
boats,
I
except
was
for
like,
some bigger ones too. Just ride them and watch them. And also, I generally, when a big boat's coming at me, when I'm in the little boat, I generally pull my gun and aim it. They generally slow
Oh
down.
my gosh! See,
I'm
this
just
is what I'm
kidding.
saying now.
Okay, y'all.
I'm waiting for the big boat. I'm waiting for the big boat. I'm not going out.
All right. We will see you on Monday morning. Welcome back, Kelly.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Now go
welcome
recover.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
And Lee's probably got some questions. Wants to know where that guy is on the streets up there.
I
with the
don't
sign.
think so. She
I
sent
tell
me
you
enough
what.
pictures, and I was like, "Oh my
Son of
lord!"
the, I'm bringing my own sign, and I'm gonna make my own sign. Now that I know if they can get money for that crap, I'm making a sign. I'm gonna earn us some money.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
making my own sign.
Okay, you're live and local. Real talk. Right here in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and we are awake. Dang it. Not
Finally.
woke, and we will see you on Monday morning. Have a great weekend, and don't forget to buy some plants, legal ones, and plant them because that you're going to love them mater sandwiches in about a month or 2.
Oh, I
Bye,
can't wait.
y'all.